Peoples, welcome to another part of this. So, yeah, got the stuff that I needed to done for the moment. So, all right, a couple changes that came to mind. First of all, equipment-wise, and yeah, let's see, dodge instead of that, dodge instead of that. Do I want dodge instead of this? Kinda. Down strength a little bit, but that avoidance though. I'm just gonna go full dodgy boy here. And, yeah, you know what? I've been thinking more and more, and I think I'm gonna do that consumable-only run if I can. It's like, off the top of my head, I can't really think of any reason why it wouldn't be possible, but, you know, it should be really fun. It should be really, really fun. Also, on a side note, jump 1 on a night. What else can I put this on? Basically everybody. Okay, you know what? I'm taking jump 1. I know my whole thing on those there, but I definitely want to get jump 1. Did I get slow ward? Yes. And since I haven't been running into stop, and since, I think we can put away in still light for the time being. It's not, like, it's sometimes enough to help finish something off, but I think slow ward will help a lot more here. I just need to be able to avoid certain things. So, okay, Aug Fire to get that, better damage off of one big slap there. Alright, there probably won't be many people showing up for this one. Kind of screwed up the timing on that last one, because most folks either show up super early or a bit on the later side. And I just kind of managed to only have free time during that exact little thing that it was too late for the early people and too early for the late people, so... Alright, this time looks like we got 1 caster, 1 healer, 2 octopodes, and it seems like we got our dude guy over here. So, Coulson the Swordman. And back to the fight we go. So, obviously, unsupported heavy units, not super ideal. But, in the off chance that there's any opportunity that I need to completely overpower something, that's kind of what I'm going for with all this crafting stuff. Like right here, getting the spear book, as you've seen, not really the most impossible thing in the world. It's actually pretty well within the realm of doable here. Oh, I meant to pick up... did I really want to pick up... Okay, I know I'm doing that annoying thing where it's like you interrupt yourself over and over and over. What I was going to say in terms of... words are difficult. In terms of picking up... deflect. There we go. Jeez, I cannot believe I forgot such a freaking obvious word. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at here... Probably should have picked up Deflect because of the archers and throwing boulders and things like that. I will pick up Deflect for one of the later fights. There's one, again, that's even more dragons and fairies and things, but those guys tend to run a lot of bows and throwing rocks and things like that, and their accuracy tends to be pretty low. So, since there's going to be a lot more stuff flying through the air, I'm going to go run Deflect and a Heavy Shield on that one, just go for maximum deflection. So yeah, that should be pretty well workable there. Here, it's just kind of plink damage, especially the throwing rocks from the octopi. Not terribly strong, all things considered. I'm a little bit surprised. I kind of expected worse from them. But, you know, we'll deal as we'll deal. So, I was talking earlier about the plan for that expendable-only run, right? So, or consumable-only run. Because, yeah, the more I think about it, it's actually much more realistic than I thought. Because, yeah, technically speaking, if the main limitation for the run is just anything that consumes an item, you know, counts as a consumable. So, for example, you know, consumable spellbooks allowed, throwing weapons are allowed, which, okay, throwing weapons are absolute just beyond garbage tier in vanilla Tactics Ogre, but you know what? I think that would be just fascinating. It basically becomes the Resident Evil run at that point, because if it's running solo, you're going to have a character that's super overpowered in a very limited capacity. Like, for throwing weapons, if you just blow the entire budget on upgrading all of them, you're still going to get, like, maybe 50 attacks out of it, which... Obviously, that's not going to be great. Like, for example, I'm going to allow for recruiting things just for the sake of selling them from materials. Probably going to completely disallow the use of orbs because they're kind of... well, you know what? We'll see. We'll see. Anywho, just because the timing is amazing. Apparently, the puppy just got up and needs to go use the facilities, so if you'll excuse me for just one moment, I'll be right back. by the way, just so you know, I'm here. Currently, the puppy's doing a little bit of puppy stuff in the background. Like, whenever they're... we're kind of getting them used to the whole process of being put up for a little while. So yeah, they tend to be a little bit upset at first, but anyway, just muting for a sec. Alrighty, hopefully I'll quiet it down on this end. So, a quick thing on this map. Kind of a neat little trick here. So, if you ever find yourself in a position, you know, kind of like this, where you're overwhelmed and trying to just deal with stuff. Oh, hello there, Luke. How's it going? Hold on, get into the question in just a moment here, but yeah, so an interesting thing. It only takes about 3 phalanxes to completely lock down most of the units on this map. I'm probably losing this attempt because of that right there, but the nice thing is, yeah, we'll just be able to get right back to it. So that spawn wasn't bad. I forget if I actually did a quick save, or no, that was with Coulson. All right, that's fine. We'll go ahead and. Would you like to save? No. Let's go back to it. But yeah. So okay. So how's it going? Well, let's see. Got a couple new jobs. So basically working pretty much all the time. So that's fantastic. We're raising a puppy, or raising a new puppy. Training her up. So if you hear the occasional like "ipe" in the background, you know, that's part of that. And yeah, stuff's pretty neato overall. How about yourself? How's everything? Let's see, slow ward, yada yada yada. Okay, that's all good. And run-wise, the way that it's going right now, I went ahead and left phorampa and came back and got the knight up to 20. Yes, the knight is basically inferior to the white knight in pretty much every conceivable way, but actually, this could work, minus the fact that it absolutely can't, because, yeah, that's not the layout, that's not the spawn we need at all. Darn it. The ideal here would be kind of like that last one. It actually was a pretty solid spawn. I can't deal with more than one warlock at a time, or witch, whatever. At least not yet. Not yet. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and drop the save state right there, so that we can keep respawning this level in the minimum amount of time possible. But anyways, yeah, we're just looking for the neutral fencer there, and it seems we're having stuff again. One moment. Alright, I think that's the right one. If not, they're one tile over. Once again, just to kind of cover it, because I feel like I have to cover it every time. Basically, the way that spawns work, it's just a list of spawns that you get for every level, as far as I understand it, and it'll just sort of like randomly pick them from that list, and there are specifically... There's just a specific drop list for every single unit in the game, because they couldn't do anything simply for some reason. So yeah, instead of like, you know, everybody's part of this drop table, it's like, no, that's just everybody, every single unit of the thousands of units in the game just has their own drop table, as his programmers are just over there eyeballing the eyeballing the gun in the drawer. But anyway, so yeah, here we are. So the reason that we're running the Knight is just kind of as a backup plan in case I do need to come back here later. The White Knight is better in every way, and will be useful for a huge chunk of time until, you know, until we eventually probably just end up going with Lord, because what I'm thinking is, Lord running either Magic or Divine, because I think Divine... Like, Divine's alright. Actually, no, wait, you know what? Divine will be good, because we can also carry over Tabula Rasa from the Cleric. Yeah, I'm not actually sure why the Lord's able to get Tabula Rasa. It's one of those things that I kind of thought was a you know, an oversight originally, but apparently it's intentional. So not gonna say anything here. Wait, did I remember to get the dude's name? Yeah, hang on. Who are we looking at here? Dalmas. Dalmas is the one we need. Okay, so, Luke, the goal that we're doing here, we're actually trying to get the crafting books out of phorampa, at least some of them. So the first one here is the one for spears. This is essentially just to get an elemental spear for later. Most of the really good endgame elemental spears come from this crafting book. You actually get the spear and Chariot before you get access to just the regular spear book for whatever bizarre reason. Here, let me double check where that is. Because, yeah, the Spear on Chariot is the neutral fencer that spawns here, the 1H Katana on Chariot, or just the Katana in general on Chariot, Lie Down in Green Pastures, I believe that's off to the right, actually, now that I think about it. Frostfen, that's that big lake type situation. The Whip and Chariot we don't really need. It's on Scenic Knoll. If it's on the way, I'll pick it up. But yeah, the general idea here is just to pick up as many crafting books as we can. The biggest goal being to pick up the two-hand Enchiridion, or rather the Western two-hander Enchiridion. That's going to be down in Land of the Supplicant, which is one of the last ones on in the map. It's the one where you're fighting, like, I think it's like 28 versus 1, so it's less than ideal, but there's some cheese that I discovered on my last time through that I never really realized before, which is that occasionally some of the skeletons can spawn as neutral factions. So we're on PSP mode? Not exactly. We are on, well, kind of, sort of. So we are on One Vision here, so that's the overhaul mod. I forget if you're familiar with One Vision or not. But basically, this is, like, okay, for some reason, a lot of folks view One Vision as, like, ultimate hardcore mode, and it's really not. It's kind of, it's more of, like, a reimagining, or, I guess, evolution of what the PSP game was going for. In many cases, they left, like, little signs of what they were probably trying to achieve, but not necessarily, didn't necessarily get there. So, for example, if you look at cudgels, and they have maces in there, they've got other stuff, it's implied the cudgels were meant to work like many other weapons in the game, but ultimately they didn't exactly go back and balance all their attack stats. So the interesting cudgels, like all the endgame elemental ones and whatever else, those function as actual weapons, and they're pretty dang threatening once you get there. Up to that point, they will do about 1 damage. So it's that kind of stuff. So kind of, I've seen it on the Discord. Okay, so yeah, basically the main differences. Is this normal speed? Yes, it is. Every single item, piece of equipment, and whatever else is rebalanced to be more consistent and just kind of generally make more sense. So, for example, in the base game, there were no one-handed spears. In this case, the one-handed spears are lighter. They come with a little bit of avoidance, and you just always will have some version of every category. So, for example, with spears, before it was like, there's 2 generic classes that can use the dang thing. Again, something that always got on my nerves, and they're like, oh, it's a bronze spear, the greenest of warriors can use this. So you get a warrior, you try to give him a spear, he can't use it. Anyway, basically spears were only 2-handed. They basically just didn't even give you a choice. At the end game, your options were you go up to a 3-tile spear, and completely lose out on all of your bonus training, on a lot of your options as far as where you move them, and just you permanently have a heavier, longer spear, or you go for the cursed spear, and that's it. I don't know why, but anyway, so just like all along they kind of went for theme over kind of what made sense in a lot of cases, and bear in mind, this is not to, go doo-doo on the original game. I freaking love it. I still run it regularly. They just never got a chance to completely balance it because it is insanely long. So, no way in hell could they have balanced that all, and there's, a lot of stuff ends up showing through. So, the fact that they managed to get a thing with only 3 very rare bugs that's like friggin' 600 to 800 hours long if you decide to go for everything, yeah, that is a miracle. Anyway, so to give you an idea of the loadout here, so one-handed spear, basically okay penetration against armor. You get a little bit of avoidance out of it. Balder Shield, this is a light shield, so I'm getting a parry bonus off it. Does its regular knockback if you hit with it. Gives a little bit of avoidance. I'm running vest type armor, so extra avoidance, extra health. A little bit, it's going to have a lower damage threshold than your plate armor. Baller Greaves, once again, it gives a deflect bonus, but I'm not running deflect on this guy right now. Once again, avoidance, health, defense. So I basically am stacked for avoidance at the moment in order to try to get all this going. Maxed out on spears, maxed out on parry, so at rank 9 here, 45% chance to just outright delete even 100% hit move. So Mighty Strike can get parried all the time. Augment Fire, for the sake of making the finisher better. So yeah, basically Ruination is the only damage scaling finisher that this guy has. I will say... Okay, you know what, Luke? Best way to describe what One Vision is. Play the vanilla game and go through Chapter 1. That balance, except it's all game. So, the vanilla's main problem is by the time you got to, even the end of Chapter 1, you could be overpowered as hell. By the time you got to full endgame, you could have any character, when I was doing the solo run on this, it was literally just the guys going around just throwing out tornadoes, sweeping everybody aside solo. But yeah, the problem was that in a lot of cases stuff just stopped making sense. That's why if you ever got to post game and you got to the point where archers were the only things doing damage because you didn't optimize anybody else, and archers just tended to become optimized on accident, that's pretty much what the issue was there. Wow, this chick is just parrying everything. What is your deal? Also, I love that that's the Zweihander now. You may notice there's a couple nothing skills. These are the strengthen, fortify, dodge, whatever. All of that is just your equipment now instead of being a bunch of stacked up skills. Those skills also tended to be why the game broke in some cases. To give you an idea of how the math worked on all that. Wow, she's only got a 10% chance to actually pull off those parries, but she's doing it every time. Good on you, lady. So, basically the way that it worked, all your human characters could get anatomy, pretty much right off the bat, which automatically gave them roughly 4% extra damage per rank, right? So it's basically +3, I think it's +3 base attack, so just your ability to get through damage threshold, and then +4, what's it? Actually, no, it's 3 resistance versus all human characters, and then +4% damage per rank. So you ended up... typically, I like to round it up to 5 in this case, because it's close enough. and it's just easier to understand. So, you know, let's just say that 5 there. Also, I put myself into kind of a screwy position here, so let's just go ahead and take swings and try to get out of here. But yeah, so you basically had, you know, roughly, if you had everything stacked up, you were 4 times 8, so whatever, 30... No, wait. I'm being dumb, yeah. So about 32% bonus damage off of Anatomy. Then you're getting your elemental stuff for the same amount of damage. Then you're getting your weapon proficiency for the same amount of damage. Plus you're getting Strengthen at 20% damage per rank. It's like, it just kept stacking all of these different percentages on top of each other, which tended to get a little bit busted pretty quick if you knew how to abuse it. It's like your first time through, you probably didn't notice in the game, might have seemed pretty difficult. But then that sliding scale is just like, as soon as you realize what's going on there, you can abuse it so hard it's not even funny. So yeah, you could just completely break the game in half. But the problem was, then this came with a tendency that towards the end game, they realized, you know, oh no, you can have all this really high power scale on there. Let's just make all of the stuff, all of the really end game stuff annoying to get to. So, like for example, you need, once you get to end game, your healing items are garbage. Your options for healing items are, just kind of going down the list, you start off with your basic heal for 25, that thing sucks. Then you get your 50s and your 75s, those are okay, whatever, but they're still pretty bad. Then you get your 100 that you can craft, but then you get your 125 that you can buy. So, okay, that's already weird, I don't know why you'd go for that, but whatever, it's an option, I guess. Then your 150, 125, 200, because they needed 3 more versions of the healing seed. So okay, again, weird. It's a really time-consuming process to make all of those. You can only buy up to 125, so okay, that's annoying. Then from there, they decided that you get healing salves, which will heal 10% of your health. Meaning that even if you had, it's a completely worthless item, because that means if you had 1,000 health, it would still be worse than the item that costs about 10% of what that does. Because it's just a material. Because you're supposed to take that salve, turn it into another salve, to turn into another salve, to turn into another salve, to turn into another salve, that you can then essentially use as a healing item. And that's your full heal. Like, it's needlessly tedious. Just, who wants that? So yeah, that was kind of the problem with Vanilla. It had some serious issues with that. Healers don't have the 2 times heal skill. Well, yeah, they do, but the problem was that healing also didn't scale. So, for example, you could get Healcraft. Why wouldn't you just run healers? Okay, so again, with PSP's, with PSP TO, healers didn't scale at all. I think they figured that people would look at the items and then just not use the items, so they kind of backtracked it a little bit so that their scaling is absurdly minimal. So in every other game, it would just be, you know, it scales up like every other spell in the game. In TO PSP, what it did was that it scales up about 5%, give or take, and then you also had Healcraft for like 4 or 5 extra health per heal. So, like, let's take your basic heal. Starts off at about 40. With Anatomy at rank 8, with Augment Light all the way up, you might get 55 out of it. So that's not great. So yeah, and then, you know, with Healcraft, you know, maybe... Well, actually, with Healcraft and everything else, realistically, you'd get, like, 52. It was, like, 52 to 54, I think, at max ranks. And then you get, like, 55 to 57 if you had Healcraft on there, too. So... Even doubled up, the basic heal would still be, you know, worse than the item you could buy at the store. And then you get your heal 2. It starts off at 60. You know, ends up scaling up from there. Your best heals are going to be at about 100. So they could heal maybe 200. With everything augmented all the way, they could maybe heal 220. Or actually, it would be about like 230, 245-ish. Meanwhile, that item method that I mentioned can give you a 100% full heal, so that's like 500-600. And anybody can use it. So, the problem with healers was that they also tended to be very, very squishy. So, it's just, there were problems. So in this one, for example, healers will scale. Healing is available to less units. Okay, actually, wait. Let me backtrack a second here. I forgot to mention that presumably, when they realize, like, okay, we want people to use the items, so we nerf the healers. But now, the healers are, well, they're kind of iffy, so let's give heals to more people. So then they did that, and, well, then you just had a hell of a lot of heal spam all over the place, so suddenly instead of fighting, everyone's running around healing each other, which tended to cause knights to be one of those situations where they're kind of more just like a bulky frontline healer more than they're actually fighting. They're doing most of their fighting from counters, and, it was just... that approach was kind of boring, all things considered. So, like, for example, okay, take the one vision approach, right? So you got healers that scale. They've got, instead of Mother's Mercy, they've got Tabula Rasa. So they had Mother's Blessing and Mother's Mercy. Very confusing, because you would look at them both and it's like they both say Mother, which moves which, and then you'd have to go and check. So instead you've got Mother's Blessing and then Tabula Rasa. So Tabula Rasa will remove any debuff on yourself or any nearby unit. Any debuff, it just clears them all. The vanilla version was that it cleared any debuff on yourself only. The idea being that your healer could always get rid of silence or whatever else on only themselves. But this also meant that if you had a healer that was already debuffed and you needed them to, heal multiple units at once, there wasn't very much they could do. They could do an area effect heal ability, but they didn't really have that many options for getting rid of more than one debuff at once, which, presented some difficulties in them being useful. On another thing, they had very few defensive options, so they were very squishy for most of the game. They were one of the few that could run an exorcism, or could learn an exorcism, but again, anybody could use the exorcism books that they could get in any store. Exorcism is one of those things that's rare enough that you're better off just getting the exorcism books and then having anybody use it whenever you need it. So they could essentially double up on healing, which items could take care of. They could exercise, which items could take care of. They were relatively fast, but again, you could just have a rogue sniping anytime they're not healing if you wanted to do it that way. And yeah, just in general, they were kind of wonky. It's like, personally, I always loved using them just because, they're the cleric, they gotta be in the team. For flavor reasons, I liked using them, but on a practical level, they're very meh. Meanwhile, if you compare the two knights, like the vanilla version of the knight had an ability to spend about 70... Whoa, what was that? Ah! My phone is doing stuff. Alright. It's like, okay, the vanilla version of the knight could spend 50 points to sit in place and take almost no damage for about 3 turns. They had the ability to spend 75 to drop down an item, or drop down a shadow, like these ones right here. And then, essentially, they were limited to hammers, one-handed swords, and axes. Well, light axes. So, issues. Axes, garbage. One-handers, when you're comparing with hammers, pretty iffy. Like, you could use a shield, but you could also use a hammer and a shield. So, yeah, one-handers were kind of meh. Most of the time you're better off just running them with hammers. Their vitality was so high, they're usually better off just not having armor on them, so basically naked knights with hammers made more sense than armored ones. They had Guardian Force, which could take damage for the units around them. They had... okay, let's see, first run through PSP, just ran for PS1 for years, so I'm just taking notes here. Oh yeah, no, dude, this game, just so you know, the mod uses the same mechanics, they're just better balanced. So, actually, I think the main one that takes people by surprise is the fact that you can't revive in one vision. If your units are down, you've still got your stones here, but they will remove, essentially they will remove a downed unit so that they're not losing a life. Or you have salvation stones, which will sacrifice the unit using it in order to bring somebody back. But basically there's just a bigger emphasis, kind of like the PS1 version, where you know, if you lost a unit, you lost a unit. There's a bigger emphasis in the mod of actually making your decisions have a bit more impact, making your equipment have more impact. Like it's essentially trying to take the best of what the series has done before, you know, try to present it in a way that's a bit more palatable. Like, especially the end game. The level scaling and everything else just got completely out of control on the PSP version, because by the end game, they were like, okay, look, there's so many ways people could have optimized their units at this point. Just slap stats on everybody, just ramp them up, who cares, just shove them up there, we don't want this to be too easy. So yeah, if you didn't optimize, well, you were going to be doing ones against a lot of stuff. Unless you had archers. Archers still did a crap load, because they're archers and they're completely broken. Like, they just... With archers, bear in mind that their daggers and bows and most dex weapons just scaled a lot better off of their respective stats for whatever reason. So they tended to completely ignore defense. Let's see. Okay, I meant to ask you to download those files you sent me on Discord to my PSP off a laptop or straight to the PSP. Still need to figure out a way to connect. So, if you're looking to download directly to a PSP, I would have to send you a different thingy, but those files would need to be opened up. Essentially, it's just added to the ROM, and yeah, so they're not just shoved in there. They're essentially files that are added to the game itself. You need to use a particular program for it and stuff. Oh yeah, also Rampart Shadow used to have 1 range. Phalanx here has 2, meaning you can do more fun stuff like this with it. There's just a lot more strategic options in OV, which is why I friggin' love it. It's everything I ever wanted in a strategy game, basically. I wish that there was an option to turn on permadeath mode, but, you know, it's still technically in there, I guess. Also, another guy running his 10% parries endlessly. Rude. But yeah, you can just do so much more fun stuff. There's a lot of new skills added to OV. It's just, in general, there's more stuff going on. I find myself thinking more about how to actually, you know, run the fight itself, rather than like, oh yeah, did I spend the last 45 grind battles optimizing all my stats to get the ones I wanted? It's fun in a mindless way when you do that kind of stuff, but oh boy. The solo run of Vanilla, it hurt by the end of it. Like, I started getting so excited by the time my entire build came together, but seriously, when it came to the very last fight, to killing off, you know, lands in the past and whatever else, which, by the way, if you've played PS1 before, Coda will be awesome for you, because it's basically a bunch of what-if scenarios. Because I kind of spoiled by this point that, yes, there's time travel shenanigans. Why are you not killing? Because I'm currently trying to set things up in a particular way. So they've got no healing aside from that one guy running around throwing out Purify. What I'm trying to do is set up a thing where this guy ends up going down, which I actually might as well throw out. No, I don't have enough points for that. Right, I might as well peck this guy real quick, and yeah, I was kind of fishing for a crit there. Go ahead and put a phalanx down here to delay them even farther. What I'm trying to set up is the fact that I'm going to have to heal in about 2 turns. So I want to make sure to have the breathing room to be able to heal. I want to be able to separate their entire party and deal with all of them one-on-one, while eventually getting to the point... Yeah, there we go, there's the heal I was expecting. So that Birdman right there that just moved, he's the one that's going to drop the crafting book for us. I more or less need to do the whole cheesing thing in order to get him to drop it. I was mentioning this last time. The one time I'm going... Oh, crap. Wasn't expecting that. Thank you, 13%. Oh, crap. Nope. Nope. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, by the way, a lot of the finishers are a lot more devastating in this one, just so you know. Not devastating in terms of raw damage, devastating in terms of actually interesting stuff. So, for example, Tyrant's Fist, instead of being like, oh man, it's 50% bonus damage, look, it insta-kills things. Oh boy, that's so interesting. It's a number. Instead it does a decent amount of damage, and then it'll remove TP from the unit. Or like with two-handers. It'll do a decent bit of damage, and then it'll do stun, or, you know, like maybe it'll be a multi-hit, or maybe it'll go and reset their turn, or all kinds of stuff. So the finishers are more about secondary effects than they are about raw damage, which is just more interesting in my book. Honestly, everything about the mod is just more interesting as far as I'm concerned. I do still run vanilla, and I was actually talking earlier about running a another challenge for vanilla after we get this one to about the halfway point, as just kind of a little bit of a breather. Parry, please. Thank you. Good. Alright, still get that item drop. I need to do a little bit of healing. But, like, to give you an idea of the spear, for comparison's sake here, the vanilla version was, you got Ruination. It's a one-tile thing that does, like, 20-30% extra damage, and nothing else. The OV version is 2-tile range, and it silences and scales with fire. With Wind Scythe, it used to just be, it's a 2-tile thing, and it might do Breach. Which, by the way, secondary effects on finishers, always guaranteed. This one instead does Wither, which is one of those effects you didn't see very often. Giga Tempest used to just be like raw damage scaling, so just big ol' AoE does a ton of damage, and this one it's a thing that's well, it's basically a snipe move more or less. It's an AoE snipe, and then Charybdis, which is an AoE guaranteed slow kind of water splash instead of the rapid fire move. Because you could unlock burst fire for your spear before and do a triple damage hit, which usually did about 800 damage. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Raw damage is kind of blah. My point exactly. It's just more fun when you gotta actually do more stuff about it. So, just so you know, the solo run of One Vision was supposed to be impossible. I believe Rakes, the maker of the mod, even said that it was impossible at some point. But we'll see. Up until the end of the story, I'm not necessarily concerned. I think I can pull it off. Please miss. Ah, crap. We might be in the danger zone here. But. Big ol' but. Any triple finishers? Yes, I believe so. I'm trying to remember. I believe it was Guns that had a triple finisher. Maybe off the top of my head. Let's see. Double finishers, I know 2 HKs are the first one. This is kind of embarrassing because I literally wrote the frickin' guide on this. Hold on. Let me pull up the guide. Literally have an entire website, which I will admit I haven't updated to this particular patch yet. I'll get to it at some point. We'll get there. Okay, finishers, melee, Alright. Going nonetheless. Let's see, we got daggers, we got, let's see, accuracy, MP resets, 2 to 3 range. Got a charm move on daggers, got a double hit on daggers, got a fire AoE. For swords, we got the double hit, we got the Envenom, which, by the way, Bad Blood does Envenom instead of Poison now, so it's actually useful. Also, stuff like Venom and Poison in general are just more useful. Like, you find them in more places. Claws just have them by default. So all your claws are poisoned claws, plus they're one-handed. Instead of just sort of being there. Really? Really? 10% you rolled that 3 times in a row, lady? I gotta check. What is your daily luck at? What is your daily luck? Don't expect too much and you won't be disappointed. Yet, like, rolling 3 10% in a row. Alright. Alright. What's yours? Oh, I guess it's about the same. Fine, fine, fine. Let's see. What's your site? Because I'm just learning the PSP version, like the level 22 Berserker main. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Berserkers are friggin' fun. I think you'll like the options available to Berserkers in the mod. Just so you know, your save can carry over. Your stats are just going to be higher than normal. Because your base stats are much more locked in for this one. Like, remember when I said that it's basically like Chapter 1, except it's all game? So it's mostly because in the original game, your background stats, every time you gained a level as a class, you got 0.1 to 0.3 to whatever their preferred stats were, and then at least 0.1 across the board. So over time, all your stats kept ramping up and up and up, which is funny because the Japanese version had 10 times that for some reason. It's hilarious if you ever want to just play the completely busted version. Maybe I just want to do a Charybdis here. Can I do Charybdis and Bale? No. Right, I need to stop them from moving around a little. Alright, let's put you here. I probably should go... Oh, crap, I'm maxed out on them. Alright. Yeah, you can only have 10 obstacles on the field at any given time. Alright, please parry that. I really should have taken her out. Crap. Okay, no parry. Hang on, let me get you the link to the site. Okay, by the way, it's going to lag a little bit just because of, because I have the thing up. There we go, you get out of here. It used to be at niche.games.com, but then I kind of forgot to renew the domain, so... Anywho. That was a bit of a whoops. I'll be redoing that at some point. Here, we can do the double Charybdis here. And I'll take out those two. A little bit of a waste of points, but... There we go. Get a little bit of breathing room. Take that strength card, because strength is good. Alright. Anyway, so let's see, other finishers here. So yeah, we got AoE Sleep for one-handed swords, and then AoE Stop. Or actually, single target Stop, that's just basically Stasis Blade. Yeah, 1 HKs, you got, oh yeah, I need to update this to range 1 to 3, but you basically have a sleep move in a line, you've got a lightning TP reset, you've got double hits for the third one, and then the fourth is the AoE Shackle, which is the one that absolutely ruins Griffins. Wait, isn't that Did a bad guy? Wait, which guy? Which guy? You mean the one that I changed the portrait, or the sprite to? By the way, just so you know, this is not the default sprite for One Vision. That's still the same. Some of the sprites have changed, because there's certain units that the game actually views as unique, but are not actually unique. Or, how do I even put it? Like, let's take Sarah and Voltaire at the very start of the game. As far as the game's concerned, they are unique. You cannot do things that you would be able to do with other or rather that you wouldn't be able to do with other unique characters, like turn them into zombies, turn them into angel knights, that kind of thing. It's just, the game will crash, or... does it still crash? I forget if you fixed that or not. Either way, you're not supposed to be able to do that. So... oh, whoops. Anywho, so yeah, they're technically unique, so they've been given unique sprites in this one. There is a tool, I have a video out on it, I forget if I posted it on the site yet, but the maker of this mod actually put out a tool a little while ago that allows you to turn any unit that's considered unique by the game into anything else. So if you want Cashua to permanently look like she's stubbing her toe on a table and also be a pumpkin, totally your deal. You can absolutely do that. It does jack up cutscenes sometimes, but what I wanted, and what I was originally aiming for here, is with this one, I was using two-handers a whole lot early on. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't want to do that. If I do that, we could run into some trouble. Oh man, there's not really very good options that I want to go for here. Let's Charybdis you. There we go. Because Dalmas is the guy that I need to make sure drops a bag. Anywho, too many trains of thought going on at once. My apologies. Okay. So yeah, originally I was using a two-hander a lot, which was reminding me a whole lot of the Giant Dad build from Dark Souls, if anyone was a fan of that series. So yeah, I decided to give him that nice old chunky golden armor, that weird face that kind of looks like the dad mask. You know, it's close enough to count, I think. I was fishing for a crit there, didn't get it. But anywho, yeah, you can have anybody looking like however you want. Like, let's see, just so you know, it'll spit out a code. It's just basically a cheat code you put in. What do we have here? Like, yeah, this one's Giant Dad Denim. Man, there's so many cheats you can use for testing stuff out in this game. It's fantastic. But yeah, like, if I wanted to have Denim running around with a trench coat or whatever else, like, have a few of those set aside as well. Like, there's one that just basically gives him a purple and, well, I should probably explain before getting into that. It can be any palette applied to any sprite, and it'll just automatically color it in with whatever it happens to be. So, for example, one of them is supposed to be like for royalty or whatever else, and it just happens to have purple and green as two of the colors that can pop up for it. Meaning that there's one that you can essentially put that over the Azelston sprite, so he's the pirate guy that you run into in Chapter 4 if you happen to do all the side stuff correctly. And yeah, he's just basically running around with like a purple trench coat and a hat with a green feather on it. It's great. It's great. You can do so many stupid things with it. Like I was saying earlier, you can... there's a unused portrait for Cashua in which she just looks like she's screaming, which presumably was supposed to be used during that scene where a certain somebody gets kind of vegetized. And for whatever reason they didn't use it, because they did in the PS1 and SNES version, they didn't in this one. So presumably they just forgot or something along those lines. Apparently he tried putting it back into that scene, but the game would crash. There's a whole lot of stuff that was hard-coded in really bizarre ways and just basically makes the game explode if they're used, so just... If you're ever wondering, like, why did this not, you know, X, Y, or Z, more than likely it's just because the thing's huge and they hard-coded it some particular way, and then just realized they couldn't change it later, or just never got around to it. You know, there's all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, but yeah. I could ramble on for ages as far as this game goes, because there's just so many weird quirks to it, you know? Just so dang much. Alright, now, if we stabify this guy, what I want to do, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop a... Would you like to save your progress? Yes. This is just in case this makes this dude explode in a crit. Now, like I was mentioning earlier, this is the one exception I am making to the overall Iron Man rules of this entire run. Generally everything else, first time is how it goes. When it comes to the crafting books, Rake's already mentioned that in a later patch he is going to make them a guaranteed drop from the units that drop them, because getting the crafting books is a massive pain in the bunghole that nobody wants to deal with. So yeah, that's basically going to be the thing there. So, as far as I see it, cheesing any of the game's mechanics, as long as it doesn't technically count as a use of the Chariot system, totally okay, or wheel system, or whatever else, it's fine in my book. Because, screw that, it's just extra grind, it's not actually anything challenging. Alright. Sorry, wife was texting me. Alright. Stabify this dude a little bit. Probably should have stabbed that guy while he's right there, because I don't want him to counter and then have to redo it. Oh yeah, like Purify here, by the way, this used to heal about 20 in vanilla, and then had, I think, like a 10 or 20% chance to heal poison. Now the poison heal is guaranteed, and it's going to do about as much as a heal 2 from the original game, but it doesn't get as much scaling. For the sake of comparison, and here we go. This is the situation that we'd want to use Giga Tempest for. Put this guy at a really low health, damage her, damage hit. So it's just basically an AoE snipe. So when you want to wear a team down, you use something like that. There we go. Favorite game for PS1 at least. Oh, by the way, the guy that made this, if you were interested in a rebalance of the PS1 version, the guy that did this mod, or has been working on this mod for the last few years, he actually did one for the PS1 version as well called Old Vision. So just something you may be interested in. Just kind of throwing it out there. Alright. If I stabify this man, does he drop a bag? Alright. Now then, we reset the turn. Would you like to save your progress? Yes. Let's go ahead and save it right there. I could just do this with save states, but I know somebody's going to get on my case. Hi there, Dolagar. How's it going? How's stuff? When I run that through an emulator? You can run it through emulator, PSP, phone, whatever, really. But yeah, that applies to both versions. You just basically patch it, and it's good to go. But yeah, I can actually help you out with that. Because yeah, just mention that you were also interested in that one on the Discord, and I can get that to you. Because it's a little bit more complicated than patching One Vision. But either way, I can help you out with it. It's not that difficult. It's just unusual. But yeah, I just love that the series has actually been getting much more of a mod type situation recently. Not even recently, just the last few years. It feels like there's been much more going into it. Like, OB64 has a mod. Apparently somebody was working on a new one for March of the Black Queen. Prince of Zenobia got a friggin' translation out of nowhere. Which, speaking of, I should probably check up on that. Alright, let's see. Where are we on that one? Alright, Charybdis is... I mean, it's acceptable. Let's just do that. So yeah, I'm still not done with the PSP one. Awesome. Yeah, no. It's not... Well, I mean, officially, it's both dead and not dead. It's Schrodinger's Ogre. But, like, basically, they haven't made a game in ages. They're still referencing it regularly in FF14. They technically, what's it? Sorry, a little bit brain dead at the moment. They technically promised that there would be a sequel, and in recent interviews, like, recent is in kind of quotes, it was the middle of last year, they basically just said, okay, you know, or they did an interview with Matsuno, and he was like, okay, yeah, I guess I probably should finish that series before I die. Anywho, got a call coming in. I'm just muting it for a moment. Alrighty, hi again, folks. So, to answer the questions above, does March of the Black Queen have mods? Yes. Actually, every game in the series now, and I mean a little asterisk on this, but it has mods. So, going down the list, March of the Black Queen, SNES version, yes. SNES version has, the best one that I've seen is called Lap of the Gods. It's essentially like a New Game Plus mode, wherein revives are much more limited, your gear is much more available from stores and less random. Its whole purpose is basically to be a hard mode, and it does that job pretty well. Let's see, by the way, you can run the PS1 version with a ninja and 2 swords that absorb the user's stats when you use it. Oh yeah, you can... you can use... Well, Snapdragons in the PS1 version are garbage. Well, sort of. Okay. That actually requires a little bit of explanation in itself. We'll get to that. But, yeah, March of the Black Queen, absolutely. You can... there's mods for it. I know that there were a couple of them out there. I don't remember much about the other one. I think it was just kind of like a general, like, rebalance somebody had put together. But then, yeah, Lap of the Gods is the main one. I think the command is !mods. Let me double check. I think that was it. For like I had something along the lines... No, I know I had a list somewhere. Hold on. Let me check my my bot settings here, because I know I had a command set up for links for most of them. Commands. Okay, so it's March of the Black Queen for that. There we go. We got that one. If you want this mod, it's !1 Vision. I haven't added Old Vision to here yet. We'll get to that later. Wow, I am missing a lot of guides on here, actually. Wow. Well, I mean, if you've never been to the Discord, it's !Discord for the SRPG Discord, anyway. Right, let's get back to it then, because it's going to be a bunch of fun. But yeah, so to go down the list, March of the Black Queen, yes. Lap of the Gods is pretty darn fun. I'm going to go ahead and drop a strength in here so that I can finish this guy off with one swing. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop a hard save, and then we're going to repeatedly kill this guy till he drops his dang crafting book. Oh, you idiot, what have you done? Don't crit, don't crit, don't crit. Thank you. Alright. That guy was apparently very, very, very unwilling to continue living for whatever reason. Yes, so override it. But yeah, by far, I guess the most consistent fun you're going to have is probably one vision. Just in general, there's more options. You get more of likely what you'd want. There we go, we just dropped a card. We'll reload the save. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to save state it right before he dies. Just to save on time. Because this crafting nonsense is some BS. Okay. Saving all those links in my phone notes. Well, it's fine. I can just send them to you later. Because so yeah, March of the Black Queen has it. Lucht's SNES version has it. Oh right, no, I actually had an article that I was writing on this. That's where they all were. So I'll link to that once it's done. But yeah, the SNES version of Lucht has a ton of them actually. There's okay, so there's Old Vision. Okay, actually no. Because the PS1 version has Old Vision. There's a few rebalance mods out there for the regular version of Lucht. The big one, the absolute biggest one I've seen, and the most insane one that I wish had somehow been successfully translated, is called Chronicle Valeria. It's one that, like, it adds day-night cycle, it adds a whole reputation and morale mechanic, it adds so much stuff to the game. It's insane. It adds all the classes from OB64. It adds, like, logical job progressions for everybody to the... Like, for example, if there's a guy that's constantly known for running away from fights, you know, they like to fight in the night, during nighttime and everything else, Like, they're basically your characters develop personal preferences and things like that. So what are you in the wild hunting ground thing? If not, would you explain that if you get a chance? Oh yeah, so this is Phorampa Forest. It's basically a bonus dungeon. When they realized, oh crap, we need to, we're required to add one more area, and we need to add a whole bunch of new crafting stuff to the game. Quick, have the crafting books in this forest for some reason. So there we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting a few of the advanced crafting books. They only start showing up at level 20, and they're far more likely to drop at level 25. In One Vision, these will be guaranteed drops in a later patch, as I've heard him say. So if I'm wrong on that, you know, whatever. But either way, it's a really stupid thing that they added for the PS1 version, that they're just a chance drop, because it's only one unit that might spawn in a particular map, in a particular dungeon, that you only get to do once per run of the entire dungeon. And then they're like, no, I'd like 20% chance to drop it, whatever. It's fine, nobody will be pissed off at this at all. So some of them are just, like, you're probably going to have a better time going and having a horse kick you in the balls, but hey, you know, it occasionally comes up. Also, I picked up way more strength cards than I thought, because I'm all the way up to 40 now, which all I needed was about 38 to pull off some of the tricks that I needed, so friggin' neato. But yeah, if you compare the base stats, your base stats in One Vision stay much lower. Since you're not getting them over time, you don't have to worry about leaving somebody in a particular class and then raising them wrong. Instead, it's just like, okay, those are their stats, they get a card, it improves their stats a very tiny amount, okay, cool, whatever. Later on, if you want to customize them farther, the food items are still there for raising them as much as you want, but they're very expensive, which is why I'm not going that route. And not to mention they're going to be like drops from some bosses and things like that. So there's certainly options out there. It's just yeah. The main focus is more on the tactics and less on the RPG, whereas the original game was a lot more towards trying to be D&D and a lot less on the actual strategy once you got to end game. In the early game, no, it was decent enough. Okay. Like, I think part of the reason that archers were so dubiously strong in the original game was just because they had to justify deflect, because parry is such a good skill, and then they're like, oh crap, we need a reason for people to fear arrows. Like, for real. We gotta make these guys good. And so they're like, what if we replaced their bows with rocket launchers and saw what happened? And they're like, oh, well, that'll make people want to avoid them. So, suddenly you've got arrows that just avoid armor entirely. Alright, Whisper of Leaf and Water. I think this was the Katana one. No, this is the Axe Enchilada. Do I want that? No. Realistically, no. Alright. And then we're just going to go ahead and blow through this map. And, okay. Snowmelt Stream, I don't want that yet. In fact, I'm probably better off switching over to the White Knight for a few fights here. And let me just route this out in my head and make sure I'm not missing anything. Because if I switch over to the White Knight, I take that bottom route, I get a few extra fights in. Realistically, I don't want the regular Knight here going up too much higher because I don't have a more advanced one-hand spear. Actually, that crafting book I picked up is gonna have the more advanced spears I need, but I can't leave to go make them. But I still need a class at 20 to be able to pull that off. So do I have the class marks to go back? I have one. Why normal knight, not white? Because I'm saving the White Knight for leveling shenanigans. Basically, I'm just trying to cheese out some of the background systems here to make this work. The original plan was to have gotten through all of up to Chapter 3 using just the Terror Knight. Then I ran into that whole situation, since warriors can use spears and stuff, and two-handers and everything else that I'm using for this. But then, obviously, the Terror Knight turned out to be, well, a little bit limited in terms of his healing. I should point out, by the way, Luke, the absolute tinfoil Terror Knights from the vanilla game, no. These guys actually hit like a truck now, and they're pretty decently armored. It's nice, but yeah, they are still limited. Why do you have warriors so high? Because warriors are actually good. Basically, all your classes are roughly going to be even. Some of your unique classes are going to be a little bit stronger. But in general, most of your classes are going to be even, because the mod has a bigger focus of just using a unit because it's that unit. So the warrior is basically your arms master, more or less. He's the guy, like, you want to train somebody with pretty much any weapon, he can use it. You want him, like, using a friggin' katana and a tower shield, whatever. You know, he can do that. You want him running, you know, just shields and a bunch of evasive equipment, you can do that. That's your purely physical, they specialize in all weapons and train all that stuff kind of thing. Archers are obviously still can do their archer thing, but unlike the base game, they've got a decent amount of damage behind their bows, but they're slow as hell, and they have a hard time getting past armor. So their armor piercing is way lower, their damage is roughly on par with what would be considered the norm. So pretty solid damage if you use them right, but they are pretty slow, and they've got, I believe the siege bows are about even to the longest range bow of vanilla. So you can... Oh, I never touched on that! Crafting in vanilla was pretty much necessary, plus it had a chance to fail that was obnoxiously high. So you could either accept the fact that you lost, you know, your rare drops that you went and put into a weapon and got nothing out of, or you could just reload the save like a sane person, and yeah, it was dumb. So instead, crafting is guaranteed, and it's used for side grades instead of just straight upgrades to whatever you were using. Does that apply vanilla? No, in vanilla they were just like a garbage fighter that could use maybe half the weapons, and then had weird limitations on anything else, and they had really bad stat growth. They got okay abilities in the end game, but they were really subpar if you left somebody as a warrior. So, like, if, for example, say somebody started off as a warrior, and then they trained as a knight to get their defense up, and they trained as a TK because they love to suck, and then they trained as a berserker to get their strength up, and a swordmaster to get their evasion up, and then as a dragoon to get, you know, their resistance up, or some crap like that. You'd probably go for cleric for resistance. Well, actually, no, cleric's more for mind. And then they trained as all that stuff, and then they went back to warrior, and they had their double hit ability, they had their guaranteed hit ability. Like, they were strong for that. But, yeah. Let's see, Denim can be an astromancer and paladin and a priest? Hell yeah, he can. Denim can do a lot more stuff. Like, basically any class... the way that it was justified was any characters that he's particularly close to by the end of the game, he's allowed to be their class. So when Vice joins you, he learns to be a ranger. When Cashua joins you, she can train him to be a priest. When, you know, if Lance joins you, he can train you to be a paladin, or an astromancer, or a white knight. So the idea is that, yeah, these are his people, these are his underlings, they should be able to teach their skills to him, because, you know, he's their commander, he would be, you know, familiar with how they do stuff, and it would be part of his job to know what they can do. There are some exceptions, like Ravenous got a unique class recently, called the Paragon. Basically Agrius from FFT. But yeah, he can't learn that because that's just entirely her thing. Or with Denim, he can't become a wiki. Let's just call her that for convenience. He could already become a Buccaneer in the base game, so that's its own thing. What else? He can't become a Knight Commander. No, I don't think he gets access to Knight Commander, because she's, like, that's entirely her thing. I believe he was hang on. He was considering giving that to somebody else. Or no, I think he was going to let Haberem get Knight Commander, because he's also from Lotus. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, though. Because just in general, the whole idea was to try to, like, go through the entire game with a fine-tooth comb, and like, oh yeah, you know, that makes sense, put that in, or that doesn't make sense, take that out, that kind of stuff. It's not a grow class, just putting weapons in his hands. Yeah, so you don't have base stat growth. Basically, you pick a class, and it's like, okay, the class is already optimized, your enemies are also optimized, everyone's just good at what they do out of the box. If you pick up cards, if you use food items or whatever else, your base stats will go up. So, for example, this is already Chapter 4. I've been using this guy a ton. His stats were in about the 30s, now they're about the 40s in the end game. In the base game, your stats would be probably 50s, 60s, going up to, you know, 80s or 90s by the full end game. By the time you got to Coda and things like that. This is Murden, for example. He starts off with pretty balanced physical stats, but he's kind of meh in terms of everything else. And then all of your random units, including enemies, will spawn in with, like maybe they're better physical stuff, or they're maybe a mental stuff. Maybe they're a little faster. Not in terms of their RT. That's another thing. The RT. So this thing right here, there were certain classes that were, no matter what, going to be better than certain other classes, right? So for example, or if you got like Ravnus or Ozma or Fulkert, they had a lower RT just built into them, so they were always faster. It didn't matter if you took a generic and trained them for a million years, they could never get their RT lower. So a few of them were just always going to be at the top no matter what. So it was this frustrating thing where you had to, you would be swapping through all your classes to try to give everybody as many stats out of that class, because it was essentially a one-time use thing, and then you'd switch everybody to another class and then dump all of those stats onto them, and it just felt so unnatural to do it that way, Like the PS1 and SNES version, right? Or the rest of the series, for that matter. They had a max level, they switched over to that class, they learned stuff from it, they moved, It was just built into the character. It wasn't infinite. It wasn't something that you just dumped and dumped and dumped and dumped into. Which is the weirdness of this whole leveling system. So instead, yeah, you're still leveling up your characters. He said he'd consider an unleveled version at some point, but your levels past about level, up to level 10, the levels kind of matter, but then past that, you're okay. The example that I like to use is one of the fights in Coda called San Bronsa. You start off in the floating ruins. It's 15 fights, 15, or actually I think it's 5 to 15, depending on how many of them you actually do. That you're fighting all the way up to the top of San Bronsa, or up to the top of the floating ruins, which then turns into San Bronsa. Your characters are probably about level 20-ish by the time you encounter it. In most cases, I think it was my first time through, they were 18 or so. And it will just beat you in the face until you leave. And so, okay, then you come back, you're a higher level, you're 25, 30, whatever, and you get through there and it's oh man, I just did all those temples and everything, did all the side quests and everything, all the way up to about 30 here, man, this is gonna be great. And then you start powering your way through there, just crushing stuff left and right. Then you get to San Bronsa, and you get to fight 5 or something like that, and they're everything's 40 now. Yeah, it's just screw you in particular, hope you redoing those 25 fights again, because you're not a high enough level yet. And with the exception of Canopus as an archer, nobody's doing damage anymore at that point. To give you an idea, the first enemy that came down, the first time I ran into that situation, it was again, I just got upgraded at 30, had gotten a decent bit of endgame equipment, and was thinking, it's good, we're doing okay here. I'm feeling I put in the work, I got these characters up, they're pretty strong now. They're a pretty solid team. And so I have a guy that was training as a berserker and was training as a knight and all this other stuff, and I put him back to warrior so he can get his double strike ability. And he goes down, and there's a cockatrice that comes down that's the first enemy. And so he's there with the frickin' Brynhildr, the plot sword of friggin' laser awesomeness from the entire series, and he's there. Puts on his crit hitting ability. He's about to go take on this chicken and 4 damage. Thing's got 500 health. This is just a rando chicken. So I'm friggin' what just happened here? So I go get my leader down there. He's specializing in spears. He's he's rank 8 or whatever. He's surely he'll be able to pull. Yeah, no, he's doing 1. Canopus flies up. He does 175. It's just bizarre, stuff falls apart entirely by endgame. So yeah. Same thing as with throwing me, I'm not sure how to make it work right. I can only get those stat buffs with whoever's in that class. Basically, whoever is currently a class and levels up while that class is leveled up will get a 0.1 to 0.3 or something like that bonus to their base stats. And then it slowly goes up, and you just basically, if you want to optimize it, you switch everybody to one class, and then you go run Tynemouth Hill over and over. You win a fight, to get a whole bunch of levels, you move on to the next one. you know, move on to the next class. Eventually you get to the point that you're turning everyone into a cleric, and you can just friggin' do 800 damage with a stick. And you just do this until you go from nothing to a god, and yeah, that's basically how you optimize the base game, which is boring! It's so boring to do it that way. Anyway, I have to step away for just a sec because the puppy has to go outside, so give me one moment. Okay, sorry, dropped the controller there, and Puppy's doing the I want to go and play noise, so just go and mute for a moment here. Alright, I think we're okay. So, I'm hoping that the Spatum will be enough to kind of carry through to where we need it to carry here. Worst case scenario, I'll probably switch over to either... I'll probably end up switching over to one-handers and going with the Verloren, if we end up getting high enough. But I think hopefully we should have enough levels to just sort of make it by using this method. We'll see. We'll see. If it ends up becoming too much of a problem, then we'll just deal with it that way. And I'm mostly saying it that way because, as it stands, the one-hander is able to at least plink slightly past most of the armor that we've run into. It's just kind of creating a situation where we're mostly relying on scaling off of Ruination here. Which, come to think of it, how far is that to leveling up? Because I really should have gotten Aug Fire up for this by this point. Actually, the more that I'm looking at this here, I'm kind of wondering if maybe the more practical idea might be to save getting the Dragon Slayer for later. See, a big chunk of the reason that I was getting the Dragon Slayer at this point was for that insane single hit damage. But if I'm able to do about 300 with a really basic spear, I'm pretty sure with the better ones we can get much further than that. Hey there, Gamma Cryptic. Anyhow, it's probably best... Oh, by the way, Luke, I forgot to mention, in OV, the actual training for pretty much all your skills is like... I think the exact numbers are like 6 to 15 times faster. So, you know, you don't have to train for 50 years or whatever else to actually become the master of something. Yes, that might be somewhat realistic, but... Also, at the same time, I'm pretty sure somebody can figure out how a friggin' spear works in faster than, a week. There's a reason those things were so popular in history, and it wasn't because they were pointy. It's because you could literally just go up to anyone. It's like, okay, random farmer guy, here is, sharp stick, go stab guy. If you don't, you are a traitor and will get stabbed, and they'll be like, okay, I guess I'm an army guy now. And, I mean, that's basically how the Greeks worked anyway, so yeah. Like, it was easy to train people. Swords were more popular for, when somebody needed something to kind of be a backup, because just shorter range and whatever, and we got petrified, so we're about to die. Okay, let's see. I have an important question. Why in AC, for answer, there's a lot of shot for White Glint's robot butt? Because that is one sweet, shiny robo-booty, that's why. Not really sure why otherwise. I think it's mostly because they wanted to show off, like, the weird articulations, little sort of jet-looking things there. And I think a lot of it was they just wanted to go for those low angles to make him seem a little bit more impressive, and the butt just sort of happens to be there. But yeah. So yeah, we are breached and a statue and very surrounded, so... I mean, we might have rolled low and the Petrifying could still pull out of this, it's just pretty unlikely. See, replaying AC2 with my OG, no steal or I'll ban and sue you. Well, okay. Wait a sec, are you the one that was... Oh, no, wait, no. No. Okay, I forget if you stream stuff. Do you stream stuff? Kat was talking about somebody streaming AC2 recently. So you've yet to max a skill? Yeah, pretty much. To give you an idea, by the way, the original... Let's see. Let me take a look here. I'm trying to find where that save was for the original... The original one was... Okay, the vanilla run... Okay, the vanilla run... Is that right? Yeah, it took me 81 hours, and that was just kind of speeding through the base game about... I'm going to say roughly about twice, because I went through and redid a few things a few times. But anyway, in that 80 hours, I would say about 70 of those hours were spent having deflect on my guy, having a skill that boosted deflect, and essentially being a massive just deflection beast the entire time, right? Just guess what level it was at by the time we got to the very end. Bear in mind, many, like at least half the end game enemies are using bows or, you know, short bows or, well, I guess guns can't be deflected, but either way, you know, throwing whatever's. Just guess what level it was by the time that I got to the very end of the game. Let's see. Stream stuff, but didn't since last year. Last stream was Mega Man 5. Played Sunline on stream and AC3 starter only. Gotcha. Did you beat the starter only one? And did you allow the use of help? Since apparently my starter only run from years ago doesn't get to count because I allowed Kaiser to join in on the big MT fight. Swear, Superfleet is like is absolutely the Simpsons of Armored Core. Whatever challenge you think you've done, she's already done it, and probably better. What the hell was I going for here? Oh yeah, right, I was going to go White Knight. Bear in mind, I haven't switched over to White Knight in many cases, partially because I'm saving it, partially also because I only have 4 marks for it, and until I beat the game, I can't really go back and change much as far as that goes. Also, let's pick up Fervor, because I know I'm going to use it. I don't need it for this fight, but yeah, Fervor absolutely going to be useful. I just want to cheese this fight, basically, because the skills are way too high for the game at this level. Alright. Got that stuff there. Log fire, that's fine. 6, oh yeah, that's adorable. Try again. See, though I didn't use Consort as part of the challenge, so I got nowhere to defeat it. Yeah, doing Leviathan with that one is tough. Basically, you just gotta keep cheesing it. It comes down to like 3 missiles left. If you nail absolutely everything, it's an absolute pain to do in the PSP version, just because you can't land on all the buildings, but you basically gotta land every single rifle shot and almost all the missile shots, and then just dodge like an absolute beast, and eventually it happens. Did I get poison last time? I think so. I need Petrify Ward. Or Stone Ward. Where am Stone Ward? I can't get it as this class yet. Alright, hang on. Let me go ahead and load up that last save. So that I can pick up Stone Ward as the knight. Stone Ward is pretty expensive, but it's really necessary. Let's pop that on there. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be getting rocked by cockatrices. 4? No. Like, that isn't that amazing, though? 70 plus hours, it got to 3. 3. It's not even like it didn't proc that often. Not to mention, even when you block, it still has a chance to roll for XP for it. It's just rate was so slow that, yeah, pretty much get nothing out of it. So, you know, that's certainly mean. It's less than nice, That's for dang sure. But yeah, that's kind of just how they went with it. God only knows why. By the way, evasion isn't really like some meta-breaking thing here. It's just something that happens to be convenient right now. Fervor. I'm probably going to go a lot heavier armor down the road. Alright, now we'll go ahead and save over that one. So you called our game over, you can count the credits as my score. Fair enough. So you playing the Japanese version of AC2, no sound effects glitch anymore, and I can choose English voices. Really? Nice. Never knew that. Alright, we'll go ahead and go for this. I probably want to slap on Consecrate. And yeah, seriously, it's amazing. It's just downright amazing what they did with that one. Will I be using Phalanxes? Probably not as much, because Consecrate is just a nice little sweep move early on. So Consecrate Edge, in vanilla, it just adds stun to into your weapon. For this one, it adds stun. It adds light, strengthen, and true strike. So a lot more useful. I love how it's such peaceful, jaunty music here for this fight to the death. It's a very casual mini-genocide. Let's get some dodge going. Alright. But yeah, so actually to give you an idea, the team made a tweet earlier, found one of the emblems saying something like Raven the Raven 9-ball core system. Cool. That's friggin' weird. What about what? Yeah, please go ahead and link it. I want to see what the hell that's about. Actually, if you can hold off linking it for just 1 second, I want to log in on my other screen here so I can actually see it. Alright, stabbing her to deflect their healing. I'm gonna go up here so I can throw out... crap. Right. Never mind, I took off Phalanxes. We're not doing Phalanxes. Ah, crap, I was 1 second too late. Alright, whatever, we'll just open it up on this screen. Oh man, yeah, I see what you mean here. Weird. There's some really wacky stuff in older AC games, though. I think, like, obviously, kind of the meme is the wooden ACs. Like, oh yeah, this guy just powers an AC with a frickin' hamster wheel. This giant mech that this guy powers with his muscles because he's just that awesome. That makes sense. Makes so much sense. It's amazing. Or actually, no. I think one of the funnier ones from AC3 there is the fact that you've got Crossback with an emblem that says Detest Humanity, and he's a member of Union. Like, oh man, I'm part of this rebel group to save humanity. Oh yeah, let's see your emblem. Is it like a giant united globe or something? It's like, no, it says I hate people. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? What are you? Are you trying to save people or do you hate them? Like, oh no, I just really a humanitarian at heart, just worked retail before. Okay, her casting's getting a little bit troublesome. I always think that Garm kind of looks like Scar. Please parry or just get hit like a chump. A normal, teenager? Yeah, I was wondering if that's what you're saying. Alright, so this is why I was saying very long ago that the kind of the meta when it comes to a solo run, just due to how much healing is available in OV, it's just kind of plentiful and all over the place. Generally speaking, single hit KOs, they're going to be your go-to. It becomes more and more difficult to pull off as the game progresses because there's just so many more options available and so many more things to defend against, and so your openings just kind of become smaller and smaller and smaller to actually get those hits off. So usually you're trying to isolate units, you're trying to get everybody disabled in some certain way. Like right now, I don't like the setup without phalanxes, so I'm just going to kind of risk it here. So I'm going to go for a KO on this guy, and I'm just going to back off. With the plan being to kind of run all the way back here. I should still take a hit from the cockatrice, but might have a chance to dodge it. Yeah, there we go. Had a chance to dodge that. The casters are going to probably cast, or I guess they're low on MP at this point. So they're going to go ahead and do a little bit of recovery, and so I have a chance to at least recover this next round. Let's see, Sister smashed my keyboard before? Yeesh. That's annoying. Yeah, I remember this, when I was kind of a little kid there was this guy that's, it was this weird case, one of those awkward cases where you have a parent that dates somebody that suddenly is bringing new kids into the house, and anyway, this guy was always moping. And so yeah, they're just over there playing Linkin Park full blast to the point that the walls are friggin' shaking. Start throwing a massive fit and punch a friggin' hole in the wall when they were asked to turn it down. Like, throwing out all these things like, oh man, nobody gets what they're going through and whatever else. It's like, dude, your dad covers every expense you could ever have. You have no problems, you live for free. Like, at the time, of course, I was friggin' 10 or whatever, so I didn't know what the hell was going on and just left, but, like, thinking back on it, it's like, you were completely set. What are you complaining about? Alright, thankfully I only rolled 1 on that one. I should point out, Luke, by the way, if you're back, differences on ninjas, they're not really overpowered. Parry? Good. Yeah, the odds of actually pulling this one back are pretty slim. Best bet I see is trying to run it forward. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this one's a wash. I need phalanxes to cover my back. Probably getting rid of Stone Ward is the way to go. So you got stuck to a wall in the arena. Would read the name, but it's in Japanese, so you wouldn't recognize it. It's a reverse-like missile. The relation missile extenders, rank number 18. The purple one? I think it was that kind of purple one with the bird logo, wasn't it? I don't remember. It's whatever. It's been a minute. I used to run AC2 a whole lot more back in the day. I haven't done that. Oh, dang it! Phone. No, stop. God dang. It is. Yeah, okay, then it is that one. Yeah, that sounds right. I just remember the purple, but. Alright. Come to think of it. Yeah, they're scaling 1 level higher, so these guys must be minimum 11. Okay, so if I go here, I'm covered from 2 angles, can just barely recover enough. I think ultimately I can maybe make it one or two more fights here. I'm not sure I can actually make it all the way up to, what's it? I don't think I can make it all the way up to the 2H, Enchiridion here. With materials to actually pull it off. Because I basically need the White Knight, for that fight. Reason being that it's, actually I can always retreat and then redo all this stuff with the White Knight, and then that should be better. But anyhow. Yeah, reason being that I need Fervor for that fight. It's just, there's so many things that need to be exercised. Like 4 Warlocks, and one of them's enough to ruin your day. There's a lot of area... So basically, I need Phalanxes for area control, I need Exorcism that I can do without actually using a turn on it, and then need to still somehow be able to recover. So the White Knight's the one that fits the bill the best, out of the whole bunch there. But anywho, we should be able to finish off this this healer guy. But I'm kind of wondering if it makes sense to do so. I feel like this ninja might be the better option. I would deal with the cockatrice, but I can't without dealing with the healer first. They're pretty much just going to override me on that one. Actually, no, maybe the Enchantress is the way to go. The archers can't attack every turn. This guy's by far the most damage, but he's not necessarily the most accurate. Let's see, pretty convinced any type of missiles that don't hit Kirby are totally broken aiming. Yeah. They have a whole bunch of them with jacked up trajectories. You know, kind of like if you look at late 3rd gen, and pretty much anything that fires straight ahead is never going to hit. Like, especially like the mid-missiles and whatever else, they're like, I curved a little bit, I'm tired, guys. And they just run into a wall, because, you know, something moved slightly. And it's just too much effort for them to bother moving. Hang on, stepping away for just a moment. Alright, yeah, I guess the kiddos aren't exactly up yet. All that is to say, one of them got up, and then she was like, no, and then just immediately started fussing and ran right back and went back to bed. So, apparently that was a false start. I was just hearing my daughter get up there. Don't want to move, let the planet move for me. Yeah, there we go. Also, I just noticed that 250 I was about to do, that was before Strengthen. Alright, we'll see how much we can do this next round. I think I actually might be able to one-shot the cockatrice. We'll see. The nice thing about having a low-level spear user here is that, yeah, I can... okay. This is one of the few things that's kind of still in there as a legitimate, you can break the game this way if you want it kind of situation. Oh yeah, no, I can absolutely one-shot this cockatrice, what am I talking about? Alright, forget the healer, this cockatrice has got to go. And he's going to dispel my crap like a douchebag. But the nice thing... okay, I was talking about this earlier, but the nice thing about Consecrate Edge is that it actually protects your Strengthen buff. Alright, please roll low. No. Stop pooping ice balls at me. But yeah, so you can actually... it protects your Strengthen buff because it'll get rid of Instill Light above Strengthen. See, an earthquake happens and I get scared? Well, don't stay away from the dang earthquakes. What are you doing living in the friggin' quake zone? Alright, let's go down here. Most of them shouldn't be able to reach me, and I don't think the ninja's gonna have the MP to cast again. I just need to get this cockatrice gone. With that gone, let's see. She's gonna retreat. That guy might still be in range. I'm trying to see what can still hit me. That's fine. Parry, parry, hit. Close enough. Alright, so she might cast. That's potentially up to 100. This might kill. God dang. Alright. I need to get into a corner somewhere. Yeah, there we go. That'll do. Let's take another turn to heal. We're probably going to take another summon, which hopefully will bounce off pretty effectively. Nice thing about all the knight classes is that they've got pretty reasonable resistance, so yeah. Pretty handy to have. Alright. Any dang ways. Yeah, when it comes to... oh, by the way, Gamma, are you in the Silent Line tournament? Actually didn't know that there was one going on until Voctor told me, so just recently signed up for that. I don't know when it's happening, but either way. I know that the last time that there was supposed to be commentary and things like that for it, ended up not being able to make it. Or rather, we ended up starting on it, and then just never finished it. Just because, honestly, interest in it died out pretty much immediately. So you seen someone posting tournament videos, didn't watch it yet? Yeah, I think that was Voxer. Seems like he's mostly handling the multiplayer stuff at this point. Alright. So, for comparison's sake, we can drop 313 on him here. We throw out a Consecrate. Let's see what we get. If we do this, we get a 329 out of it. No, but it's going to make our next turn come a little bit too late. It might potentially threaten and delay for later, but for now, I need this guy gone. Just kind of get this situation opened up. I'm just going to take a step forward. No, actually, I'm going to move down here. Ninja's going to go for melee next round. There we go. Perfect. So now we know that I can potentially one-shot anything on the map with this. Anyhow, they're actually pretty dang fun. People play at different kind of levels and whatever else, but yeah. It's kind of a total crapshoot what kind of connection you get, of course, but it's fun. It's fun times. Like, technically speaking, one time I just sat there and dodged everyone's shots until I could technically say that I won a tournament fight with just rockets. It's like, oh yeah, just manual fire, I don't even need lock-on. Mostly because they gave up and stood still, but that's fine. I still got half their health off when they were actually trying. You know, it sounds impressive. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and take a Mending Seed here, and as much as I want to pick up that item... Alright, what's this guy running? Running Whip, so he's going to get a diagonal hit anyway. She's going to go directly. Technically speaking, everyone's kind of running ranged. If I go here, I can block off that one crossbow. Almost. You dick. What a dick! Alright. There we go. Not bad. So all we gotta do is sit here and charge up bars up until we're ready to attack stuff. But yeah, with only 26 Mending Seeds, this is just not gonna fly. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to try to make this work with spears. If what I can do is get all the way up to endgame. I can go for unlocking Lord on the first time through, and then come back using that. Because then I'd have access to more items, I'd have access to more just healing in general. That might be viable for coming through a second time. But then if I'm already in endgame, I might as well just go for transcription. Well, actually no. If I'm already in endgame, I might as well just pick up Lord by time traveling. Alright. Sit here for another turn. Take another heal. Probably move over here for no reason. Alright. So, as far as other books we could get here, if we go all the way to the right, I believe we can get one of the Katana books. That one's pretty easy to get to pretty much any time, so we can go back and resupply to pick that one up. Frostfen... Let me see. Yeah, Frostfen is going to be... Yeah, okay, it's 1 HKs that are in Lie Down in Green Pastures. Or wait. A trainer-like formation, like trees closest to the starting point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's that map that's all the way to the right. But yeah, right now I definitely don't have enough items to pull this off. And unless I have access to salves or something, it's just not going to work. Not without some really good RNG, because Ooh! Actually, that's fantastic. I got a unicorn horn out of it. I'm pretty sure that gives us... I'm pretty sure we can make a Colcrium now. Which Which basically means that we have a potentially 15% bonus damage Holy Spear. Or I guess like 12%. Now I'm just sounding like a friggin' math psycho. Just, I'm constantly trying to think of like, okay, here's this slight bonus that we can kind of bring out against this particular situation. And that's what I love about this run. It's just, all of it should be impossible, but with the right pressure in the right place, you can pull off exactly what you're going for. Because it's always just enough. Okay, perfect. Because now, what can we do here? Delete, delete. Who wants deletion? Okay, we got this guy, he's somewhat threatening. Got this guy, he's somewhat threatening. Everyone's running whips. I guess we can go for the caster. I can just one-shot at any point, really. Tell you what, let's do this. We'll go after this guy. If he drops an item bag, then that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, okay, then that's what we're gonna do. Reason being that he's the one, at least it's a beast tamer somewhere on this map, that would drop a crafting book. But, whatever. So yeah, instead of going two-handers, we might have to run one-handed spears, which is like the very bottom of the friggin' list. I think I was even saying early on, like, yeah, there's no way in hell I'm ever going to use a single spear in this run. Winds up being what I'm relying on. I can run one-handed swords. Funny part is, the best ones are, like, the friggin', we're gonna get the Lombardia later for free, we're gonna get the Brynhilder for free. We already got the Verloren, just kind of randomly, so I don't need the crafting books for those. Most of the other variants are just gonna drop for free. The two-handers were mostly important just because of the fact that they had the Dragon Slayer in there. The 2 HKs were probably going to get... 2 HKs and 1 HKs were probably going to get some of in Palace of the Dead. Again, 1 HK seemed like they're going to be fairly easy to get. But yeah, the main... I know I went over this again and again, but the reason for the Dragon Slayer is just because single hit damage. There's certain cases, like the temple bosses, that I'm expecting to need it against because they've got a crap load of health, and if we get a thing that is pretty much guaranteed to break fast armor no matter what, and we get a move that's able to scale ridiculously high, and we get like TP, TP plus 3, then we have 275 that's scaling, so that's an automatic 175 on whatever the damage would have been already, which in that case it can do a ton, so that would do some absolute wonders, but either way, we're not going to be able to pull it off like this. So I think we'll just progress with the story for the time being, get the White Knight up, and yeah, go from there. But yeah, I love the placement of the 2H Enchiridion, or the 2HK Enchiridion. So they're like, oh man, we gotta put it on one of the harder fights, because it's, it's a two-handed thing, it's gonna be so strong, we need it to even have a unique class for just using this amazing weapon, and it's just absolute trash. Double Charybdis. Let's kind of throw that out there, give him something to heal. Just go ahead and speed up the rest of this fight. There really shouldn't be too much left in it. Now that I think about it, that was kind of a dumb move. Because now my only option is to sit and heal. Right, yeah, you're gonna be the next one. Ninja definitely needs to go too, because she keeps lowering my TP every time she attacks, but for the most part, her stuff's getting blocked. Right. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Alright, one more heal turn. Part of the annoyance of running an avoidance setup is that you don't have the health to survive a lot of this stuff. Like, if I was running a tank build right now, this wouldn't be a problem. Sorry, the walking tanks empty first try. Well, good job. Good job doing the thingy! Man, I was so excited the other day because I was kind of digging through stuff and found my old PS2 memory card. It's funny because I apparently had a blank one just laying around, and so I go put it in the PS2 and it doesn't work and it won't save, and I'm thinking like, oh man, my old card apparently doesn't work anymore. All those saves are gone, and then I just find this other one that my daughter had apparently stashed in their bookshelf. I'm looking at this thing, it's like, okay, I'm just finding all these old like 800-hour friggin' FF10 saves and like I don't know, was it like 15 different AC3 and AC2 runs and whatever else. That was great. It's like this moment of re-finding your past all of a sudden. Skilled, now I can put my name on a leaderboard and be proud. Nice. What leaderboard though? Is there a challenger on leaderboard for Armored Core? I kind of think that I promised Cow that I'd do the rocket only of AC2 at some point, if I ever figured out how to emulate it. Or emulate it without severe lag, anyway. So yeah, if there's a leaderboard for AC challenges, definitely would try that at some point. Nah, it's a joke. Man! Friggin' rocket-only Last Raven was for nothing. God, that crap took forever. Never again. Never even want to look at Last Raven. Not even kidding. After that stupid thing, deleted Last Raven off my Vita. I just never want to see it again. The game's freaking dead to me. So many communities I don't want to walk into. You found one that's still alive? It's kind of a unicorn by itself. Let's run Strengthen, and is that enough to do anything to you? Not really. I mean, their healer's gone, so it's not like they can do very much. And I guess they got a backup healer. Dude, take your stuff. Got a jitty. Huh, sweet health you got there. It would be a shame if you got double overkilled for it. So many stat cards start dropping at this level. It's great. Or just in general, as the game progresses, you get more and more stat cards. Feels like a lot of the random maps, they just felt really, really stingy with the drops. Alright. It's gonna be the last mending seed we're gonna need. Probably didn't even need it, but oh well. I'm already kind of expecting to need to back off here. As you do. See, now if I had a fire spear at this point, then it would actually make sense to continue stabbing this guy. But no such luck. Alright, deleted. Dilty head, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not really sure how you will a crossbow bolt into going faster, but whatever works. Whatever logic you decide to go by. Good. Right, we got a chain whip, got a targe, got a robe. It's hard to explain why we're showing up with these things at somebody's apartment, but that's fine. Alright, so lie down, green pastures. It's actually this one. Alright, hang on, let me see here. So yeah, this is the Katana and Chariot. This is the U-turn map, as I like to call it. Alright. Never mind. Okay, we're gonna see if we can pull this off. Forget what I said before. This is the one. This is the one where stuff gets stupid. Alright. Okay. Because basically, what you want to do is show up to this map with the ability to survive a crapload of things. Because we're going to go full mail on it. But yeah, you want the ability to survive a crapload of things to completely control the surroundings here. So we need phalanx. We're also going to need to get stone ward out of here, because we need squash as well. Alright, hope you're ready for something real dumb looking. Because I don't know if this is going to work, but if it does, it'll be pretty sweet. Alright. By the way, you have no idea how mind-blowing it was when I first heard this music in March of the Black Queen. Like, just the fact that I heard it so many times in this game, and then just never... I never even played Ogre Battle until I'd probably done 20-plus runs of this game. Had, you know, done Night of Lotus for forever. And then, just, again, in comes this theme. And it's like, oh man, you know, this is a nice theme and everything. And then was going through March of the Black Queen after that. It was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know this. I know this music. Man. It was really something else. Alright. So here's what we're running into. Because I need to... Alright, so what I need to check here. Alright. So we're early enough now that these guys are not going to have Draconic. Basically what I need, the setup that I was working towards here, is this little nook right here. Because you can set up a spot right here that's exactly out of range of Draconic. Because you can get rid of this, you can set up a little buffer right here, you can drop an extra phalanx to screw with their movement over here, and then you just basically run from side to side, you put some phalanxes outside, so you're only fighting one enemy, you're running side to side trying to build up finishers, and chucking down ginseng and stuff like that, to just one-shot everybody. Running side to side, trying to avoid Draconics, trying to force them to run around the entire map in order to be able to pull it off. But in this case, I guess we might not really need to. I guess we can just punch through the trees and drop a phalanx behind us and call it good. Alright, gonna speed this up. Alright, we'll drop one phalanx right here. So what you want to do is screw up their movement as much as possible, so I'm going to take small movements, going to kind of tilt my way back here. Drop phalanxes kind of all over the place to delay their spellcasters as long as humanly possible. And yeah, basically Minecraft, you're right. I need enough defense to be able to survive all their missile abilities and stuff like that. But just screwing up movement, that's what this map boils down to. Because if you can get people over on your side here, delay their healers, delay their casters, whatever else, you can deal with all their melee guys. So that'll get rid of their, like, strong damage right off the bat. Then from there you can kind of just isolate everybody else, punch your way through the trees, get everybody stuck behind it. And yeah, every time that we're dropping one of these, it's getting the same rampart effect that we've got, so one tile in the front, two tiles to the side. Let's see, Strong is such a cool character in AC2, he never failed a mission until it killed him, but he's still cool. It's kind of weird that that's the trope that they went with, though. It's like, he's a cool character and all I'm saying is, like, every single time that they want to have a cool character, it's almost universally like, oh man, they never failed a mission. It's like, but what about somebody that did? They're cool too. Alright, drop one right there. Looks like we're getting a Warlock through, but their healers are still way back there. Hi there, Bill. You're back. Are you winning? Yes. Yes, currently we are winning. And yeah, sorry, it wasn't a mana day. Actually, I wasn't even expecting to have this time. But yeah, this is the map that I've been setting up for absolutely ages. Ah, crap. That would have been a really sweet crit if it hit. Alright. Drop the phalanx right there, and that should be all the walling we need, actually. Alright, yeah, starting to get a little bit worn down here. Obviously, this super armor can't last forever. As long as we're staying reasonably far away from the phalanxes. So how are they doing? Yeah, this at 1, this at 1. Need to drop another one over here. There we go. And hopefully they don't decide to AoE it, because if it's broken, then it was just kind of a wasted turn. So the cool thing is, if you put yourself up in such a way here where they kind of just want to fire through the gaps, they won't actually attack these phalanxes unless they've got a skill to do so. At this low of a level, they don't have a skill that they can use to do so. So you can just kind of just create a wall, and that's it. So what we do is we just put up a wall right here, right? Now we can go over here. Suddenly they won't have any more AoEs that they can hit with us, or hit us with. We can go ahead and run down here. We've got only one that's through. We've got one guy that's, trying to push his way through here. We're essentially going to heal, step forward, and block him in his tracks, meaning that there's only one tile that they can take, all the way through the trees down on the bottom right. And we'll block that off by the time they get there. So what we want is that then it creates... Okay, so this is kind of like a tower defense type situation, so it's basically this tile. But what we actually want is to block off this tile right here, forcing them to essentially stop right here, then they go over here, then they stop right here, then they go over here, then they gotta stop right here. So they gotta take 3 extra turns to actually pull off moving into this little area. This guy's about to have his day completely ruined with this. And, funnily enough, this isn't even the limit of what we're gonna do here. Because we're gonna start punching through the trees to further kind of maximize what we can do here. And to then split their party. This one's just going to continue trying to solo me here. See, fan theory. Vance is actually the one who can access the Chariot system. He's on all routes because he's charioting back to find a timeline where he wins. Oh, that's real tragic for him then. It's okay. It's okay. This'll be the one. See, I got promoted. This time I actually made it all the way to Chapter 4. Nope. Nope. Alright. We're doing pretty okay here. Also, hang on. I'm muting it for just a sec because I want to have some of these chocolate-covered espresso beans. Them suckers are delicious. But yeah, basically what we're going to do, we're going to force them to get into this little area on the right. So they're going to start slowly walking their way in here, then we're going to punch through the trees, then we're going to circle back, and then we're going to block it off. Meaning that they will suddenly decide to all go one by one all the way around the entire map, and I absolutely love this cheese so much you have no idea. Anyway, muting for just a sec. Alright. So here's basically what we've set up, in case you're wondering. So, we have one left. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can put an 8th one down, in most cases. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to punch this tree down, allowing me to put one right here. What this accomplishes is that if I stand right here, I'm functionally immune to everything but AoE. Actually, better yet, you know what? Let's go ahead and run all the way down here. Let's go ahead and drop this sucker right here. Take a little bit of a heal. And now slowly wait as they trickle in one by one. So, the way that this cheese came about, I was constantly running into problems with this fight because I couldn't deal with everything at once. It was just a giant mob. I couldn't figure out how to approach it in such a way that, you know, I could actually reasonably fight through it all. And so I wanted to kind of force the AI to split up, as it were. So they're going to start coming their way, or coming this way. Most of their units are just completely bogged down on the left there. So you killed strong, I'm now the strongest. Man, I thought I had the bad puns. Alright. So now all we gotta do is slowly take them all out. Man, Poison Mist has got some frickin' range. So whereas before, we had to deal with all those knights and all those fencers and all those ninjas and crap, well, they're all stuck over there now. So now we can just kind of deal with everything as it comes. Just, you know, they come close, we go ahead and step out of here, deal with them, move on to the next one. And kind of just sit here, biding time, chew on some mend leaves, maybe go this way, convince them that we're gonna go ahead and go inside some more. Don't need to be native English to make dad jokes. Fair enough. You probably want to stick to dad jokes, not daddy jokes, though. Because I'm pretty sure somebody would misinterpret that as like a sexual thing over here. Because apparently everything is a sex thing. Because why not? That gets frustrating sometimes. Like, I don't personally run into that very often. But just like when you hear stories of somebody gets into trouble because they made some random bad joke and they're like, yeah, apparently you're a molester now. Like, what? But what happened there? I think it was like a couple months ago or something. There was some guy that, I think they got like a janitor job or something like that, and they ended up making some sort of joke while not speaking English very well. It was basically wound up getting themselves fired. Because apparently there was some common saying in some other language that got them in trouble. I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, just wanted to see if I could maybe drop one more, but no. And yeah, once we have all of them already dragged all the way back here, we're going to go to the right. We're going to let one of those phalanxes get destroyed. And then, yeah, we've got the cheese perfectly set up. Alright. Oh, crap. That's bad. Alright, might have overplayed my hand here a little bit. Run! At least they're finally baited. Took them long enough. This is the last fight that I can reasonably do. I'm gonna think that there's not really much of a practical reason for it either. So if this does fail, I'm just gonna back out. I just don't have enough. I don't have enough resources to continue. And I basically got what I came here for, so that's fine. So there we go. One guy has stepped into the trap already. It's definitely a time-consuming method, but it does make this map possible at the very least. The problem is we basically need a full TP bar to be able to pull off a kill at any rate. Come on. Finish taking your middle million turns. Dead. And yeah, the main type of ability that this whole setup is countering isn't even present in this particular case. Just because it's supposed to counter Draconics very well, allow you to get close to them without actually getting hit by them. With the plan being that you'd already be charged up, the Warlock or whatever would get close, you'd go ahead and spring the trap on him. They're gone before they can cast. But to be able to control your area enough to be able to pull that off is the problem. Bummer. Alright, what is this link that you sent? Okay, looks like Tommy Wiseau. What are you doing on computer? Alright, that works. Whatever. Alright, so we're just gonna back off of this and just continue with the plot then. We got what we came here for. Alright. So let's look at all those shinies that we can now make. Alright. Ignis, not going to be terribly useful. Longinus, though. Oh, I guess we don't need what I thought we needed. We can make the Keldrin. We can make the Orochi. Actually, that's going to be our first order of the day here. What element is that? I want to say it's Earth. Wait, it's Dark. What am I talking about? And I've actually done Og Dark before, so perfect, perfect, perfect. In that mission that was in Master Arena. Oh! Ew. Well then. You have fun with that. Also, on a little bit of a side note, that, that thing you sent automatically turned into Star Wars with Tommy Wiseau. If you've never seen that, good lord, go give it a look. It's so good. It's amazingly good. Alright, we need some woots. So what we're gonna do is need to sell some stuff. Which will allow for getting some purified ore, which will allow for some other shenanigans. Some ores, get some what's needed a gloom. We have the new Joker. Oh, you mean like, okay, gotcha. Good. We're gonna need baboa wood, so we're gonna need some sticks. Alright, Codex of Gems. To make a Gloom Orb, I need Dark. To make Dark, I need Purified. To make Purified, I need 2 grand. Or 1 grand. Yeah, they used to be 1k each. I guess that went down at some point. There we go, get a Gloom Orb. Get Baboa. Now, where the hell do we get a Worm Whisker? It's like the one friggin' part I haven't gotten yet. I think we get it from dragons. I mean, that's a given, but I mean, I think there were specific types that we needed. We can make a Keldrin, though. I know where to get that. And Og Water would work out pretty well. Alright. And then for oh, we can actually just make a Longinus. Okay, we're gonna do that then. We just need Radiant. Man, I'm stupid. It's like, let's just go make this way more difficult to get one. With a way more niche use. Good job, brain. And yeah, unlike the base game, you can't actually use these as a portable nuke. But you can use them to make stuff right away. Alright. For some reason I thought I didn't have any worm horns, but got one. Okay. To make my fancy spear. That one's at 30. Okay, I don't even have a class that can use this yet. Dragoon's the closest. So do I just grind this class up then? Alright. First order of business, let's get naked. Seems like a weird priority, but it'll make sense. Well, actually, no, wait, I have one fight to do. So we'll save getting the Dragon Slayer for later. So we gotta deal with this guy. Actually, no, we won't, because we're at the wrong level for it. Okay, don't save. Alright, instead of Squash, we'll go ahead and get Consecrate. Instead of... yeah, Phalanx is fine. We need him to be at a higher level, though. Let's go run Time Mouth a few times. Well, okay, so the fight after you go into the mountains is basically a fight where if you go in naked, you can just skip the fight entirely. Funnily enough, even if you have a necklace on, they'll suddenly just, like, it's funny because he'll even have a thing where he's like, but, you know, look, I came alone, and he's like, oh man, you're armed for war, and, like, he's got a ring on his finger. Like, yeah, that clearly means war. What else would it mean? I mean, I guess just married people want wars all the time. How about that? Alright, so we know who to target here. Now, Wizardlington has to go. It's like the Doge you downloaded by mistake. Sure. That checks out. I believe it. Alright. If we drop Charybdis here, it does nothing. If we go over here, we should be able to just get rid of this guy and not have to waste any healing items here. Marriage is war. Fair enough. Also, are you hearing that, by the way? All the gigantic friggin' booms and thumps that are coming up from upstairs there? Swear to God there's hippos living up there. It's like a bunch of these college dude bros that moved in there ages ago, and I don't know how many times I've reported them for making the entire building smell like pot, but whatever. Like, normally, okay, so, on a purely whatever level, I don't... It's not something that I'm... You know, I really don't give a crap what somebody does in their free time. When they start venting that crap through the, through the dang bathrooms and the entire building smells like it and my kids are inhaling it, no. It's a completely different story. See, dishwasher's on here, so it's kind of loud. Okay, fair enough. But no, it's just like a... Because they, they apparently can't walk like a human being. That's not the tile I meant to drop that on, but it doesn't matter. The absolute ideal here would have gotten to get the Spear and Axe book. Speaking of, let me double check real quick. Where do I get Spear and Axe? Axe, Spear, and Hammer is dropped by the Air Fortress. Okay. Why did I think it was dropped in phorampa? Alright. Now we probably want that one because I want to run an Og Fire build at some point. The DDR World Championship is going on upstairs. Watch out. Old millennials' bones are creaking, trying to figure out if it's a thing still. I actually don't know either. That's a good question. Do people still play DDR? I mean, I still see it at arcades and things, which also still exist for some reason. I've never seen anyone playing it in forever, though. I don't know. Also, by the way, this is the point where clerics start getting really annoying. Since they're almost always running light equipment, and because their recovery time is so low, they'll usually end up double-turning any even remotely heavy builds. It's like even a shield and spear build, they'll gladly double-turn like nothing. So they can basically heal a debuff and get rid of my buffs, and go ahead and just have a tea party in the time that I'm taking my next turn, which is fine. That's the way it should be. Keeps them useful. I feel like they could maybe use a very slight speed nerf, to be honest. But I've been told several times that they're actually not that fast. It's just kind of how they're spawning. See DDR's live. See it every day on Twitter posts, and my friend plays on Steam. On stream? Oh, alright. Apparently you can stream DDR too. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, I saw somebody playing Dark Souls on the DDR pad. Which is just amazing. That needs to happen more. Although I think the whole play Dark Souls on whatever controller thing has been done to death at this point. There we go, 14. which lets us get the next spear, which lets us do this. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and put the shard shield on there. Basically, shard shield gives you reflect magic. Hey, rhythm games! Dude, Cryptid Necrodancer is amazing, thank you very much. And we're back. That took you a hot minute. Welcome back. So we ended up abandoning the plan for phorampa there. I'm putting it on the shelf for the time being, because I got the spear book. Turned out you can get the Longinus out of that, so that'll do the job for now. So I used to reprogram games to be rhythm games when I was a kid, so Final Fantasy V, but with arrows to use abilities. Times were hard before Twitter existed to keep millennials out of trouble. Jeez. Alright, so we get 1 kill and several slowdowns out of this. We can become a water tornado. The fun things you learn with spears. Have you ever wanted to be a water tornado? Pick up your nearest sharp stick and swing it around for, like, I don't know, a few hours, and you can reach rank 8 in no time. If we consecrate... Yeah, we're already consecrated, so we don't need to worry about that. Go ahead and drop that thing. Wow, this fight's going like just nothing. Dead. This fight never goes this easy. Dead. Luckily that can't crit. I don't really have the mending seeds to really keep this going, or else I would say I might as well go for the dragon map. Come to think of it, I should probably go for the dragon map. Alright, let me double check. Worm Whisker. Does it drop there? Where do these frickin' things drop? Drop by dragons and phorampa wood at Mount Hedone. Okay. And we're at 15. Okay, so you know what? We can do it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like optimal dragon grind strats here. So high evasion, damage reflection, phalanxes. Yeah, we should be alright. What's the best class for grinding spears? Any, really. Probably warrior. If you're doing one vision. If you're doing the base game, you've only got the option of 2 anyway. Until you get Lord, or you get access to the lizard classes, which, I mean, I don't know what Matsuno has against spears. He's just so mean to spears. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep redoing this fight until, well, until we get the thing I'm looking for. Drop a Charybdis. Let's go with their movement. This guy's gonna go try to friggin' point blank me in the face with a crossbow for some reason. I mean, whatever floats your boat, little fly guy. Alright, do a little bit of a heal, and just wait. So yeah, Shard Shield, it's not one of those things that's super amazingly useful on many maps, but on something like this, where there's a decent chance you're going to be taking a crap load of heavy hits in a row, and they have no recovery to speak of, you really might as well. I mean, eventually they'll need to melee, so you can kind of counter them that way. You're kind of exchanging the ability to dodge as well, and the ability to parry better for, well, this. Okay, get rid of one of you. Okay, got that stuff. That's not terribly useful. Not unless we're using a fist character, because a lot of those claws and fangs and things are for the fist weapons. Thank you. Can I please have a turn now? Boo. That was kind of the optimal map, to be honest. Alright. Sibling Dragon Quest 3, also, it's really hard but fun. Became the queen of a silly toilet town and it was boring. Weird. Is that the one on GBA by chance? Because that was the one that I remember being really impressed by, because start of the game and they had a really impressive like tutorial type situation where it more or less was less of a tutorial and more of a we're gonna judge you real hard for all your actions, and it was surprisingly spot on. Anyway, let me go double check once again because I really would like my kiddos to be up by this point, and for some reason they're still napping. So let me go make sure that all their lights are turned on. So turning this off for one quick second. Alright, and back for the moment anyway. Oh, I didn't realize that there were little flappy things on this one. That's problematic. Alright, let's see. How old? Got two myself? 2 and 1. Plus we train puppies. So all kinds of fun stuff over on this end. Alright, I think we're gonna have to take care of the flappies first. Boo. Stop trying to dispel. How old are yours? Oh wait, hang on. Hang on, I missed some stuff here. Hold on. Best class Dragon with acid breath. 9-year-old me would have been very excited to see that. Wait, here, let's see. It's on color, but I don't know in advance. Actually, it might have been... I think it was on GBC, now that you mention it. Because it was pretty simple looking. I just automatically think, you know, all the greatest things ever are on the friggin' GBA. By the way, I realize that that's a risky move and might just result in an instant loss here. I'm perfectly okay with that because not many dragons spawned on this map, so... Apparently... It was almost too early to speak there. Apparently the game has decided to keep on going, though. They played on the Super Famicom with the Fan English patch. Oh, by the way, speaking of, in case you're wondering, because we were talking about that Chronicle Valeria thing earlier, Awesome Mod, the English patch, does not work on it, though. Apparently it partially works, but apparently it also breaks some of the scripts for it for some reason. So, yeah, that's... I mean, it changes so much, it's not really that much of a surprise, but still. Just so you know. Because that one's on the SNES version, which does have an English patch. And to be fair, even the English patch by itself breaks the game a whole bunch. It's why I typically recommend the PS1 version over the SNES one. And hell, even the frickin' Sega Saturn version over the SNES one. Like, it might be the original, but god dang, that thing has a lot of potential for soft... Well, not even soft locking. It has a lot of potential for hard locking for a game that's several hundred hours long. It's kind of messed up, really. I've heard plenty of stories of people getting to Chapter 4, going through all the way through Palace of the Dead, being right before the final fight, and it's like, I'm sorry, your game has decided to corrupt your save. So, whoops, have a good time with that. Right. Yeah, by the way, another nice thing about this class, the fact that you get True Strike on here. So if you ever can't hit something, it's like automatic, roughly 25% bonus accuracy. These two dragons are like, please stop eating our healer. We need that weird bird thing. Probably should have dropped down a defensive phalanx there. Not like there's really that many offensive phalanxes, but you know what I mean. Alright, Charybdis, yeah, that'll sort her out. That'll damage these other two. And even if we don't end up getting the Worm Whisker, I'm just gonna call it for this one here. And drop one more, because I just want to move on with the story at this point. I'll give you that Whisker. Boo. Drop it! You dick! Alright, well, that was pretty pointless. Let's move on to the plot then. Go fight this dude. I kept telling myself when I was going and starting this that I would stop it at a very particular point. So the rest of this stuff doesn't particularly matter. All I gotta do is go up here, we gotta hit Aurum. Just hit him with one attack, that's all we need. So we just go all speedy-like all the way up to him. Do heals if we need them, take a bunch of arrows. Berserker's kind of a bit more... Berserker or Rune Fencer is a bit more ideal for this one, but whatever. Just because they can wade through the water. I think Knight can get wade. I don't recall for sure at the moment. I'm going to drop a phalanx right there so that they can't actually prevent me from moving. Guess we'll just go ahead and call that an offensive phalanx. Come on. Come on. Keep hitting. Keep hitting. Give me that TPs. I need those TPs. And this is why I have it fast-forwarded still. This particular theme is not terribly bad when fast-forwarded. But a funny little thing we can do here. So we can get some points off stabbing these guys. Then we run over here, and like an absolute douche, prevent them from actually going anywhere. Actually, I put it at the wrong angle. I was supposed to stop right there, and then stop it, or drop it down while facing this way, so that it gets both tiles, but that's fine. Let's see. Check the temp to see if I should go for a walk, and the weather apps is like, the air quality is smog monster. There's a 100% chance you'll get the flu. It's so cold you'll freeze in place, you will definitely die. Yeah, that feels right outside right now. It was all nice and, like, temperate yesterday, and then, like, today, go outside, it's snowing and freezing. Puppy goes to the bathroom. A little bit later, it's frozen to the ground. Sounds like fun. And I screwed that one up. Let's try again. I said it's easy, therefore it has to be difficult. Any better spears? Not really. We can go for a heavy spear. That might be the better option here. And there we go. Let's go for this. Yep, there we go. Got all the Hugos in chat there. Need all those bridges. Get over that water. So Luke, you played OB64? Out of curiosity? I'm always curious if somebody recognizes anything about OB64. You have not? Okay, then you're probably wondering who that guy is. Because that's not Warren. Yeah, no, so... Since I don't know if we're doing any runs of OB64 anytime soon, the basic idea is that there's a guy, you have this guy that's basically your team tactician guy that gives you your briefings in OB64. And before every single fight, for whatever friggin' reason, rented it for PS1, so I don't know who it is, or you do know who it is, but it wasn't on PS1. That's really impressive if you managed to get it running on a PS1. But no. Yeah, dude's just always talking about bridges. No, that guy's an OB64 only. I think you're mixing him up with, well, some people call him Warren, some people call him Sheridan. But no, he's, the guy in question is from OB64. Or, no, he's not. He's from, God dang, now I'm all confused. From OB... Yeah, no, he is from OB64. Now I'm being stupid. Whatever. My brain broke. I'm sorry. I have it on warranty, I think. See about getting a new one. Anyway. Yeah, Warren and Sheridan are different dudes, as is Hugo. Exactly! Exactly. Now, I'm saying he's been called both of those before. Because apparently I made the text all tiny, so nobody can read that it says bridges. See, I know the game, not the character. There's a lag for your conversation of mine. Okay, fair enough. Any dang ways, no. But yeah, no, you have this guy that gives you briefings, and for whatever friggin' reason, they decided that they needed to point out every single bridge in the game. Even if you're never going to use that bridge. Like, the dude's just all about bridges. It's a weird feature. Alright, so now that we have basically the entirety of their front line over there, who now can no longer even get to me, we're just going to continue going this way. God, I love cheesing phalanxes. It just makes everything so much easier. Whereas the vanilla solo strategy for this section was just like bum rush and faceplant through the entire thing and hope you don't die. So you do hope that Old Man Matsuno ends up being Hugo plus Warren plus Sheridan plus Darabon, the FFT tutorial guy whose name is in the AoE sleep spell orators get later. Yep. Mimic Darabon. Who the hell's Darabon? Somebody. Hopefully you played the tutorial. Except, hang on, in the or the original, like, the English version of the PS1 version there, wasn't there a typo? Like, one of them said Darabon, the other one was, like, Devonon or something? But yeah, just, yeah, honestly, Warren's there is just kind of an in-joke. It's one of those things you really don't notice in OB64 until you've kind of played it for a hot minute and are in a very specific mood. No! Wizard! You don't get to do this kind of stuff. Okay. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's about to get friggin' rocked. Then again, maybe not. Alright, do I have a... Okay, I do have a Fern Bolus. There we go. There we go. Now we can't go anywhere. Not that he'd really want to go that direction, but I don't want to deal with those dragons. I also forgot to check if the Longinus is a 2-tile spear or a 3-tile spear. I forget which one's which. God dang it. Wizard! Frickin' wizards, man. Alright, I might have enough points to just finish him this round, though. No, I have less than last time. Alright. Fair and Bolus again. Move over here. Prevent them from coming over here. Oh man, this is like RE Outbreak if you've ever played it. It's like, go put all the barricades up, prevent everybody from coming over. God dang it! Frickin' wizards, man! I don't know why he feels so confident right there. Old man's ballsy. Can I move now? Please? Dude, I am literally immune to that ability. What are you doing? As in, it doesn't even roll for a chance. It's just... Your odds to hit are no. Really? Okay, well, I think she just threw the fight almost. Dang it. And now I'm slowed. Boy, this is turning sloggy. Alright, I can snipe him with that, I can hit him with that. Which slows them down, but it doesn't help me much otherwise. I can ruinate their healer, which will open him up to be finished off other ways, but then I have no guarantee that I'll survive this next round. He doesn't have points, so I might be able to. Alright. Let's see what happens. This is bizarrely sloggy right now. I love how they just randomly have all these mend leaves. So I want to point out something hilarious. So, obviously, in the base game, they did the whole mend leaf thing too, which is, like, I can understand kind of, you know, why they decided to do that from a, like, from a visual perspective, because it kind of looks interesting, because they're like, oh man, look, they're tending to their wounded and things like that. But so many times in the base game, bear in mind that the mend leaves were half as good. So whenever they were used, they were always doing, they were always doing, 25. And this one they do 50. So, basically, it was just making this bizarro situation where, yeah, they had a bunch of units wasting their turns going and doing an effectively worthless amount of healing towards each other, just kind of for the hell of it. And if you go and do the multiplayer AI version thing, if you have any of those leaves in your inventory, they will gladly sit around using, like, they'll be completely surrounded. You know, they'll have a finisher built up. You know, they could easily wipe the entire map there. They're like, no, but this leaf though, guys, I need to go use this leaf on someone. It's so weird. All right. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier this time by just taking care of some of these extra units earlier on. Because last time I got through just fine, then just started getting into a slog because he kept hitting bind over and over. Like a douchebag. I mean, you know, good play on his part, but... I probably could have just put on stop ward, to be fair. And just done the exact same thing. Because then I'm just going to run into a slog because I don't have overpowering damage here. Could always come in with two-handers, I guess. So you finally destroyed the maternal trucker in the arena, and blocked him from using vertical missiles, apparently. Well, yeah, that's one way to do it. I sat on his head. Rude. Rude. Yeah, I think we're just going the stop ward route. And then, seriously, I gotta get going, though. What do I want to put on here? I need Arc Fire, though. I can kind of get rid of Consecrate Edge, I guess. And this is why when we're doing Lord later down the road, it's one of the unique things you can do. You can get Priest Pants, which give you Stop Ward just kind of passively, which you can combine with other armors that'll prevent slow. You get the Zur thing, which can prevent stop, and all of that's kind of just going to be a big old crutch up until we get to endgame, at which point the Fire Crest can just prevent all of it. Oh, let's see. Be well. Hope your air quality and flu are better than out east, as they are, or than they are in the Midwest. Hoping so. So, by the way, I have about 1 million Slack notifications that I need to check. I don't know why they all came in one big bundle earlier today, so I apologize that I haven't gone through a lot of those messages yet. Most of the time when messages have been coming to my phone, it's been work-related stuff, so that's kind of why I didn't really look at it just yet. So, again, apologies for that. We'll be taking a look at that. Oh, nothing pressing on Slack? Okay. I was just thinking, like, oh crap, wait, did the editing start? I don't know. Oh, crap. Did I do the bad employee? Alright. Technically speaking, I can go right here and just get rid of those two on the left almost entirely. And stab. Just drop phalanx right there. Prevent some movement. That's funny. My daughter is in the other room trying to get Alexa to play Baby Shark. So we got a bunch of Alexa stuff for cheap the other day because Best Buy was having like clearance of them for whatever reason. I don't know if like Alexa's getting phased out or some crap, but either way, not gonna complain about a good deal there. So, but it's just funny. Ever since my daughter started seeing how we were using it, she's constantly trying to give it commands, but she doesn't understand that you got to say its name first. So she'll wake up in the morning like, turn it on. It's like you gotta say, you know, Alexa, turn the light on. She's like, no. Thank you, Alexa. Alexa, it's fine. Oh yeah, also Rant can probably hear her over here. Can probably hear her in the background here. Alexa, play animal sounds. Is that coming through by chance? Because I find this way funnier than it probably should be. Alexa. Would Alexa actually do that? Alright, there we go. That is a good chunk of their units gone. It's coming through a little bit. Oh yeah, you trying to get the computer to talk? It's playing animal sounds for you. Where's your brother, though? Did he get stuck? Go help brother. I'm learning facts about birds now. Alright. Now it's doing some kind of monkey? Alright, I want this dang fight to be over, because it feels like I keep setting up a situation where we're just guaranteed to fail every single time now. Alright, Luke. Well, it's probably just going to be this one fight. I'm going to try it one more time. If it doesn't come through, I'm just going to go ahead and call for it today. Not reading that, Gamma. It's fine. Well, your dinner's still in the oven. It's not done yet. Can you go help brother, though? Alright. Now it's talking about bats. Of course it is. Alright, I'm muting it for just a minute, though. Alright, there we go. Let's stop trying to talk. But yeah, as you can probably tell by this point, all we gotta do is get close to Aurum and that's it. Like, there's a lot less setup than there is for the spear. But the problem is with two-handers, yeah, you gotta survive a lot more. A shield really helps a lot, and this, yeah, might be already be... Come on, give me my turn. Freaking slow, though. Alright. Anyway, do I want to give it one more go? Kind of. Last one, I promise. More turkeys. But it's chicken that's cooking. Hmm? No, no more lunch turkey. You ate all the lunch turkey. You don't want lunch, you want food. It's still cooking. Well, here, let's get you a snack while we're waiting for that. One moment. She wakes up, looks at her dad playing games. When she grows up, she'll do the same. These kids have a kid these days. Well, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to be the norm at that point? Like, you know, mom and dad both play games of different varieties. She seems to, you know, she seems to love her puzzles kind of like her mom, so whatever works. Which is kind of weird, because, you know, you'd think there'd be more overlap as far as that goes. Like, my wife loves her, you know, like, puzzles of different kinds, board games, and that kind of thing. And I love my strategy games. Not as much overlap as you'd think between those two. What happened to your drink? You just had it. Bah! Step away for just a second and get eaten by a dragon. Friggin' only ogre problems. Alright, we'll give it one more go. Wait, nope. Style A. I feel like it's time to try something stupid. Go for these one-handers. There we go. So yeah, one-handers in this case, decent amount of bonus damage. They have a scaling, damage scaling move, or finisher. Gives me the silver ward there, so resisting the caster guy that keeps hitting me over and over. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this. So yeah, 200 did about, or 200 did about 190. One-hander does about 130. Spear does about like 150-ish for the heavy one, or about 100 for the light one. It's all decent numbers. It's all workable. Only problem is they've got 2 healers, and yeah, that ain't ideal. Just get rid of this guy. Hang on, let's check one more thing here, because I think... Taking a look at, yeah, I think the Air Fortress is what we're going to want to go for. Because it's got the sword one, it's got, or no. Air's the one that has the sword one, wind is, or water's the one that's got spears. Some more snacks! Well, that was quick. Be right back. See, saw a large missile slowly touching my AC's button, got scared and screamed like a monkey. Wow, this game makes me feel every emotion. That'll do it. If you ever want to feel the emotion of absolute dread, just go load up AC1. Do that thing with the frickin' mechano ants. Dude, this Hildegard lady is the most non-contributing member of their team by far. Everyone else is over here trying to do damage or whatever else. She's just, like, going over here, just dancing around. Check it out, guys! I can do an ability that does nothing. Also sucks for these guys. They just trap themselves. But yeah, as you can see, that one shield took 30 damage off this guy's casts every time. So mixed with the other stuff, you can become nigh immune to it. Which, of course, is when all the frustrating stuff starts happening later on. Because then you start getting into those situations where Draconics are suddenly doing like 200. Yeah, stuff. Stuff. Alright, can I move now? No, that's cool. Alright, let's re-up Consecrate. Put up this. Those guys should be almost entirely stuck on the right there. Never mind. They're moving around just fine. Let's see, I'm against 11111. Or 1111. But he's rank 10, since I destroyed another high ranker, he might be upset at me. Yeah, dude likes his ones. It's all about them ones. You know what's funny, though? If you go through his build, I don't think all of his parts actually have, are the ones that have the most ones in there. Can't remember. Because I remember specifically checking for that, and I can't remember whether it actually was or not. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. I know what I need to do with this fight. It's just gonna take a little longer. So, either way, I'm gonna call it, because I got stuff to do. So, thank you guys for stopping by. Take care. And, sorry for the weird hours today. I know it's, Like, we didn't have a mana day or whatever else. It was the first proper, like, work day for the second proper job that I've been doing, so, you know, stuff happens. Anyway, so I'm gonna get going. So, see you later. Take care.